States and more around the world are part of Worldwide Walkout. Thank you for coming. Some courageous judges are upholding our human rights and the right to refuse medical treatment. But courts follow culture. You coming out here today and you coming out next week and the week after that is what those judges need. Courage is contagious. Courage is contagious. You need to show those judges that they need to be courageous. And I want to say, I welcome everybody. It is so exhilarating to people like John Gilmore and me who've been at this for 20 years plus to see all of you join us. We are so grateful. I don't care if you're vaccinated. I don't care if you're purple. I don't care if you're 105. I don't care who you are. Support our basic human right for bodily integrity, parental choice when it comes to your children, the right to refuse unwanted medical care. So like John did, there's a couple of basic things you can do to help. Sign up for The Defender at Children's Health Defense. It will keep you informed. It's free. It will tell you where and what's going on. If you would, buy Robert F. Kennedy Jr., our chair's book, The Real Anthony Fauci. This book tells us about the last 60 years and what's really going on. And it tells in great detail how these real medical interventions, real therapy that saves lives are being suppressed and that information is being censored. And that is a crime against humanity. That is absolutely a crime against humanity. I want to just conclude by saying I stand by what Franklin Delano Roosevelt said. The only thing to fear is fear itself. We are strong. We are courageous. We know what the future looks like. No medical mandates. No medical apartheid, no segregation, no vaccine passports, real liberty, real equality, real due process, real human rights. Thank you very much.
Is that still running? Is this still running?
Thank you, Mary. Next we have Stephanie Lucrecio. She's an advocacy liaison for Children's Health Defense. And also, she is a hostess with Amy McBride for Community Corner TV, which is on Children's Health Defense. There's all kinds of great shows on there. And the Community Corner show highlights just people in the community doing good things and helping others. Welcome, Stephanie.
Thank you, New York. I am so happy to see how many people have walked out. Give yourselves a huge round of applause for showing up in a big way. It's amazing to see all of you. So, I want to start by saying, did you all know that you've been in training for this moment? We have all been in training for this moment for our entire lives. Every experience, every disappointment, every failure, every success, everything that has happened to each and every one of you standing here today has led us to this moment. And we are winning. It may not feel that way some days, but believe me when I tell you, I've been standing for medical freedom and with our warriors for the last 2.5, 3 years in Trenton, freezing, here in New York, and I'm seeing so many new faces showing up every day, seeing a lot of the OGs, as Michael Caine would call them, continuing to show up and stand strong. So I want you to know that everything that you have right now is being tested. That is the goal. The goal is to divide, to exhaust, to separate, to label, and to make us feel that we are not connected. But whether you are white, whether you are black, whether you are Asian, whether you are gay, whether you are straight, whether religion you have, whatever label they try to put on us, we are all connected in the sense that we are all human beings. And when human beings, babies, are threatened, there is something that happens inside of our bodies that all of a sudden we find strength that we did not know we had. And they are coming for our children. They are coming for our children. I stood in a meeting yesterday. I had the honor of being in Washington, D.C. to tape Senator Johnson's hearing. And thank you, Senator Johnson, for giving the injured an opportunity to share their stories and to be heard. And what I heard yesterday disturbs me to a point that I literally was in tears at certain points. Hearing these people who lost their children, the son, 18-year-old son dropping dead on a basketball court after having the vaccine. A 13-year-old girl whose injury is labeled as abdominal pain, when in fact she's in a wheelchair on a feeding tube. They are suppressing data. They are hiding the truth about what is happening to people as a result of, quote-unquote, doing their part for the greater good, giving up their bodily autonomy, giving up their belief about what they want to do with a personal medical decision that should never be forced or coerced or threatened with your livelihood. And that is what's happening right now. And that is why every time we come out here, we see new faces, because it's showing up on the doorstep of every American. It knows no boundaries right now. And the only thing that stands between it is us. We, the people. We, the people. The power is with the people. Let us not forget what happens when people gather together in community to stand for what they believe in, to stand together in prayer. There is power when we gather as a group. So remember in those dark times that you have all been in training for this moment for your entire lives. And when it feels like it's hard, there is so much strength in the struggle. The struggle is difficult. The struggle is real, and it can be hard. But I promise you, in those moments where you feel like you cannot go on, you cannot take another day, that discomfort, there is so much there to be found. There is magic in the discomfort. There is growth. There is opportunity. There is all kinds of things to take. We just have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable just a little bit longer. It is always darkest before the dawn. And let us not go against our beliefs, our values. Let us not sacrifice our bodies and our children to be convenienced. Inconveniences are difficult, but living without freedom, living without bodily autonomy, watching our children be sacrificed for a pharmaceutical experiment to which we do not know what the outcome will be in the future, is far more scary than living with some discomfort right now in this moment. And remember, as you look at all the people standing around you, we are not alone. We are not the minority. We are the majority right now. So, thank you. So take this opportunity to connect with people just like you that are standing out here today, that have the same beliefs, that have the same values, that have the boldness and the courage to stand up for what they believe in their heart of hearts, no matter what the consequences are. You are in amazing company. So connect with your community and know that in those moments where you feel low, you feel alone, you feel like this will never end, that through all of this chaos, there are blessings. There are blessings. There is a togetherness and a sense of unity and love that I feel every time I am in these crowds. It fills my cup. It makes me understand and grounds myself in why I do what I do every single day. And it is not just about my child, it is about all of your children also. We are one big freedom family, and we are growing every single day. Find strength in the struggle, stay connected, stay informed. Knowledge is power, and like Mary said, courage is contagious, more contagious than any virus out there. Go on the Defender, sign up for truth, for knowledge, and remember, by being here today, you are all defenders. Defenders of truth, defenders of freedom, defenders of children's health, and I love and admire each and every one of you. You are not alone, and we are and will win this. Thank you.
Let's get together and feel all right.
Okay, thank you, Stephanie. Our next speaker was a teacher. He is no longer a teacher. But before he was no longer a teacher, because the actions of Bill de Blasio, he saw what was coming and started writing about it and speaking about it and organizing about it and put together a group called New York Teachers for Choice. And even though that he's no longer getting a paycheck from the taxpayers of New York City, he is still dedicated to the cause of protecting the teachers and the children and everybody else in New York. So I give you Michael Caine.
Hello, New York City! What's going on? Yes! I'm really happy to be here. Before I go into a couple of updates with Teachers for Choice and for all the teachers and educators out there who need to leave the UFT right now, I have some updates. And those of us that were kicked out, right? We got all types of people here. I want to plug something from my friend Pauline, who's over here. She has this campaign called Vex It. Now, Vex It is for all the parents here. And what Pauline wants all the parents to do is to write a letter to your principal, your superintendent, the chancellor, wherever you are in New York City, in Long Island, in Westchester, all throughout this whole state, and tell them if the COVID vaccine is mandated for kids, your child is out of that school. Vex it. Pauline, hold up your flyers, these yellow flyers here. If you have a parent that's in any school in New York State, vex it. Send this in. They need to get flooded with these. Regardless of what happens or doesn't happen, send it, send it, send it, vex it. That's what you want to do. Now, for teachers, we find ourselves, and educators, we find ourselves in a couple of camps. We find ourselves in unpaid leave. That's me. How many people are on unpaid leave? Yes, my people! Yes! Because we wouldn't be coerced by their mandate. And God bless all of NYPD, FDNY, sanitation that's holding the line. God bless you. And God bless all of my fully vaccinated New York workers. We love you. We stand with you. So stand with us. This is not about a vaccine. This is not about a vaccine. This is about if you let the government tell you you have to inject a product that is not even 1 year old yet to keep your job, to buy a slice of pizza, what can't they tell us to do? What happens next? I'll tell you what happens next. In England, right now, there are 9 schools where all the kids, to get their lunch, have to get facial recognition scans. Because that makes perfect sense. You can't have a peanut butter and jelly unless you gave up your biometrics, right? And in January 2022, in Albany, they're going to start discussing facial recognition, biometrics, fingerprinting, tracking systems in all of our schools. And NYC, the New York State Teachers Union, said, okay, let's talk about this. What the hell is going on? All right, let me calm down. I want to give you some info. Unemployment. Yes, so in New York State, check this out. Thank you so much. If you want to apply for unemployment in New York State, you have to give up your biometric facial recognition data. If you don't give it up, they don't give you unemployment. Medicaid too?
You can't get Medicaid. A senior can't get Medicaid unless they're vaccinated.
Unless they're vaccinated. So listen, this isn't about being against the vaccine. I'm not against the vaccine. I love and support everybody that made the choice to get vaccinated. That's your choice. This is about choice. This is about fundamental rights. That's what it's about. And this country of America got a lot of things wrong. It did, and let's be real about that. It is a country founded on genocide. on racism, on slavery, on segregation, on Jim Crow. So let's not deny those things. We need to recognize that and be real about that. But this country didn't get everything wrong. And when the Founding Fathers codified fundamental rights in the first 10 amendments of the Constitution, that they got right. And that we need to protect. We need to call out what's wrong, and we need to protect what's right. And trust me, no one is giving you anything better than the Bill of Rights. When you hear the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, talking about a new social contract, you will own nothing and be happy.
Hitler 2.0.
I don't believe that hype. So we can be against what's wrong in this country at the same time that we are for what's right in this country. We can be nuanced. We can understand all of this. Okay, I don't got a lot of time. I want to say one more thing. I am currently suing de Blasio. Wow, not a lot of de Blasio fans here, huh? I'm suing de Blasio in a case called Kane versus de Blasio. Now, what just happened last week, there's a copycat case of Kane versus de Blasio, which is a really good thing. It's really, really good. So this copycat case filed in the same court as us. They got denied just like us. They appealed just like us. And now they're in the Second Circuit Court of Appeals just like us. And they paired us together. We're twins now. We got two cases together. That's a good thing. And what also is good is we're also now paired up with this very prestigious Park Avenue law firm that is taking this on. That's good. That is good. I actually just had a meeting with one of the attorneys from that law firm, and it went fantastic. So we're feeling good. Now, November 10th, right across in Foley Square, not too far from here, in front of the courts. That way? Okay, that way. Right in front of the courts, Thurgood Marshall Courthouse. We are going there November 10th at 12 noon for a prayer vigil. Keep the signs at home. Listen to me, this is important. Keep the signs at home, because this isn't a protest, it's a prayer vigil. We are going to have Muslims, Jews, Buddhists, Christians, Catholics, non-denominational folks, atheists, everybody coming there to pray together as one group. We are also going to have a press conference there, and we already know a dozen mainstream news channels that have already confirmed they're going to be there. This is an important day, November 10th, 12 noon. Come on out. I love the signs. I love the flags. I love the red, black, and green American flag. I love everything that I'm seeing here, from liberals, conservatives, Republicans, Democrats, everybody that's here. I love everything I'm seeing. But November 10th at Foley Square in front of Thurgood Marshall Courthouse. Leave the signs at home, because this is a different approach. We're going to have a prayer vigil there. We meet at 12. The prayer is at 1. The hearing is at 2. So for all updates on that, go to teachersforchoice.org, teachersforchoice.org. We're going to be posting a lot about it there. My time is up. God bless everybody who walked out today. I love you all. Fighting for medical freedom. God bless you.
Okay, so I'd like you to welcome Donna Aliperti. She and Jen McNamara are both nurses on Long Island, and they took the initiative when all of these medical mandates started happening, and they knew that it wasn't going to serve the people, to start an organization called New Yorkers Against Medical Mandates. It's NYAMM.org and .us, and everyone can go out and sign up and get all of their information too. We have a lot of people organizing and stepping into that organizational job, and we can all do that and join. So welcome, Donna.
Hello, my fellow freedom fighters. I get so juiced up when I come to these things, and it's a long hike for me, right? I'm Eastern Long Island on the North Shore, so this ain't easy. But I love seeing all of you out here, and I'm here as a nurse, but I'm here as a human being, and a mom, and a wife, and a neighbor, and an American citizen. And, you know, there's lots we could get into at every one of these rallies if we had all the time in the world, but I have a feeling I'm speaking to the choir here, right? If I want to talk about, you know, the misleading information we've all get to force us into a place of collective fear that allows us to be ruled by tyranny, right, as a society. And so we're not going to talk about that today. What we're going to talk about today, or I'm going to talk about today, is, you know, a lot of people have come before us for hundreds of years. A long time ago, people left their comfort because they didn't believe in what they were living under. And they sailed oceans, and they braved the West, and they forged new trails and paths, and they created a society called the United States of America. And there have been freedom fighters for generations. I have freedom fighters, military members for generations in my family that have fought in all of the major wars, and I'm fighting my war now along with all of you. This is war. 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 And what does it take? It takes bold bravery. It takes courage, and it takes sacrifice. And we're calling upon everybody, not just all you standing here today. Listen, I'm going to implore each of you, because you're here because you believe what I'm saying. I don't really need to say that much to you. But I'm calling upon all of you to start being brave, not just to show up here. Start speaking out. And if you're not loud and you don't want to speak out like I did in my polling place yesterday, they loved me. Walked in maskless, told people to remove their masks. As a nurse, they don't help you. They might make you sick. You know, things like that. You know, if that's not who you are, that's okay. There's a place for all of us in this battle. And so if you're a quiet person, you know a neighbor. There's somebody that comes to your door and brings your mail, or that you get your bagel and coffee from, or whatever it is. Start speaking not just your truth, the truth, okay? And don't claim it as my truth. It is the truth. Truth doesn't have all different colors and sides. It is one truth. And the truth has been expressed here today, the Nuremberg Code for International Law and Human Rights, the American Civil Rights, right, and Constitution. These are truths, self-evident truths. And I want to ask you, and have you ask all the people you encounter, are they okay with somebody running an experiment on you illegally and forcing that upon you at the sake of your job, at the sake of putting food on your table, a roof over your head, over your God-given rights and sovereignty? Ask them. Start asking them that question, because they don't have a good answer. The answer is no. They're not comfortable with it. So like the people that came before me said, start getting used to being uncomfortable, okay? And God's gonna walk with you through this. Trust him. He's got us. He still sits on the throne. There is one God who sits on the throne, and we are all his children. So don't stop. Do not grow weary. Do not be afraid. Be bold. Be courageous. Stand firm. Keep walking, and don't tire. We're just at the beginning here. And we're going to see the right side of history. We're on the right side of history. We're going to see the right things happen if we stand together. And as a last note, I want to say what my group is doing. And I don't like to say my group. It's a group that I just happened to co-find, okay? It's our group, New Yorkers Against Medical Mandates, okay? And this is taking a village. It's more than a village. And it's taken armies. And what we're finding with our group is that we're becoming a hub to organize leaders from all of these amazing groups and people all over New York that are standing up against this. And once this happens, we're having a meeting tonight. And once this starts, there's going to be no stopping it. Last week at a rally, I said it's a tsunami. It's a tsunami. So look out, New York State. Look out, United States. Look out, world, because we are all coming for you. Get on the right side of history. Freedom isn't free! Thank you, Donna. And now I want to introduce a wonderful speaker who speaks all over the country, Kevin Jenkins, who's the founder of UrbanGlobalHealthAlliance.org. There's all kinds of great information there, initiatives, get involved. You know, if everybody gave $5 to all of these organizations, they'd be booming. Or even $3, right? So let's welcome Kevin Jenkins. We love you.
Hello, everyone. How are you? Can somebody hold this for me? Thank you, young lady. I just got back from Colorado. It was absolutely fantastic. Everybody was out in the snow. Everybody was talking about freedom. Everybody was talking about this country. And it just excited me. And look, I'm a black brother, so, you know, I don't like the heat, not dang much I don't like the cold. But you know what? I'll stand out in the blizzard to fight for our children. That's what's important. I want to take this moment because I don't normally do this because I'm always like moving. I think somebody told me I've traveled 200,000 miles in the last year and a half. And I might be an idiot, but I was like, my God, 200,000 miles. I go home now, I'm going to say, wife, you still love me? She said, yeah, I still love you. But I want to take this moment and I want to say a moment of, I just want us quiet down for a minute and stay present. Because there's a lot of people at home right now that are afraid. There are a lot of people at home right now that are struggling about their jobs. There are a lot of people right now that are afraid for their children. And you know, we need to take a moment and like a moment of silence for them and pray that they continue to be strong, that they continue to seek God's face, that they continue to know that they're not alone. Because normally what happens in this situation, we do feel alone. You know, are they going to stand up for me when I lose my job? Are they going to stand up for me when I take my child out of school? What am I going to do? Can I feed myself? Can I feed myself? You know what? That's some serious stuff. All because these people believe they are going to be our God and they're not. So we can close our eyes for a moment and give a silent prayer for these families, these firemen, these nurses, all of these people that are standing alone. That would be the most respectful thing that we can do right now, because the world's on fire, but our hearts are on fire, and we are going to win this battle. So please, moment of silence. Now, let me tell you why I am so excited to be in New York today. Because every time I come here, when I leave here, I'm kicking some butts. Because see, when they see New York on fire, the world's on fire. When they see New York standing up, they find courage. When they see New York standing up, see, I believe in the next couple of weeks, we're going to have 1 million people marching down this street. Now, I've been predicting that everywhere I go, I've been saying New York is going to be the epicenter of everything that changes in this country. Now, I want you to disappoint me now. I don't march, but I'm marching with you when you walk down here with 1 million people. Now, everybody's been glued to their TV watching the election results. Oh my God, what's going to happen? Oh my God. You know what? Shame on you. You're still looking for a savior. Instead of looking deep inside into yourself and finding your own courage to stand up for your families, stand up for your children, stand up for your community, stand up for your soul, stand up for your body autonomy, stand up for informed consent. You're still looking for somebody to rescue you. Now, you know what? I'm a little pissed at you today because of that. I want you to understand no one is coming to rescue you but you.
Talk about it.
Now, all of you, I see it. I didn't get any sleep last night. The election in New Jersey is a nail biter. Who cares? The government has failed us from day one. They said, you're not important. Big tech is important. They said, you're not important. The education cartel is important. They said, you're not important. You should not eat. You should not live. You should not breathe. You should not be happy. And guess what? You should not even worship your God. Now, I want y'all to break out of this dream spell you're in. And all you black people out here, that's what I heard yesterday. I got to tell you, I heard this yesterday. Well, Kevin, I can't vote for a Republican, so I'm going to vote for failure. I'm going to vote for the lie. I'm going to vote for the group that's taking our children away from us. I'm going to vote for the group that's mandating that I take an experimental biologic. I'm going to vote for the group that's telling me I am no longer a human being unless I agree with them. Now, you guys are I can't say what I really want to say. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And all of you do it. I know some of you. I watch some of you black people out there. Well, because if we vote for the Republicans, we're voting for Trump. Trump's not the president. You are the leader of your destiny. Now, see, I think I'm at a damn funeral. Oh, you understand what I'm saying? Yeah! Oh, you understand what I'm saying? Lift those signs up and let everybody know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Now, let me tell you this. This is our moment. Not Martin Luther King's moment. Not Malcolm X's moment. They fought for us. Not Ida B. Wells. They fought for us. They stood up during their season. They stood up during their challenge. What are we going to do? 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 Now, all of you placeholders, because, you know, we always have some placeholders that come to rallies. I don't know why you're here, but maybe you're seeking something greater than yourself. But I want you to know, everything I feel, everything you feel, all of our connection with each other is about one single thing. I finally am figuring this out. At first, when I started, I wasn't there. But this really is about love. Yes. I'm going to tell you, because if you really love someone, you would never hurt someone. If you really love someone, you will never take their children away from them. If you love someone, you would find it deep in your heart to do the right thing. So when they see us come to these rallies, they say, oh, they just protesting. No, we're showing love. We're showing love for the world. We're showing love for the universe. We're showing love that the Spirit of God that gave us to understand love, He didn't lie because He gave it to the right people. Now, all of you love each other out there? I still think I'm at a funeral. This has been something magical happened in Colorado the other day. And I want you to hear this because it blew me away. And you know, when you do this, you know, you're in these moments and people always ask you, what did you say? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, God is doing something to me, but I'm just going to go with the flow. That's right. But something happened the other day that just blew me away. So just imagine 5,000 people in Colorado in the snow. The snow's coming down. And I ask everybody in the audience to hold their hands, which I will do today. I will ask everybody to look at each other and say, I love you, and I will explain that today. But when I asked them to inhale God and exhale fear, I heard every inhale. Do you understand what that did to me? I heard every inhale. They were unified as one group, one powerful voice, one human being. They were not many. They were not 5,000. They were unified as one. It messed me up so bad I haven't been the same, because I'm like, why did I hear that? I hear that because I am now turning my thinking to understanding why we're all in this mess anyway. It's because we lost something greater in ourselves, and that's the love for God. I can't come up with any other answer anymore. I could be radical, I could be screaming, I could be doing all of this, I can be like, God, we're going to fire. But I'm telling y'all something. If you show each other love, they can't win. It's really something. You know why? Because they can't penetrate the power of love. They can't. They cannot do it. And I realized that. I said, I have to show compassion to the people that are living in fear and losing their hope and giving them the courage to know we have the right to stand up for ourselves. We have the right to be free. And we have the right to protect our children. Now let me tell you something. I'm pissed. Because if you think for 1 minute I'm going to turn over my grandkids to those people, you must be out of your mind. Now I'm telling every parent in this audience, I want you to raise your hand. I want you to raise your hand. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. And I want you to understand this one thing. If you give up your child, you give up your future. If you give up your child, you give up your life. If you give up your child, you give up hope. If you give up your child, you'll be trapped in fear for the rest of your life. So when we mask them up with a mask of shame, when we tell them don't hug your other kids, when we tell them don't smile, we're destroying their godness in them. And I'm telling you right now, that is a hill that I'm going to die on. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. I don't want anybody to die physically, but I'm going to strap on everything humanly possible to protect your children. Where's that young lady? Can you come up here? I want people to see what I'm talking about here. Come up here, young lady. Come up here, young man. You come up here. You come up here. Now, if we can, come up here, young man. Come up here. Come up here. We're not going to fall. Now, I grew up in a community that loved me, that embraced me. I grew up with two parents that told me, you fight against injustice anywhere and everywhere. And don't worry about being friends with everybody, because guess what? God will give us all new friends. Aren't we all new friends? Aren't we all new friends? Aren't we? So now, I want to reintroduce myself to you. My name is Kevin Jenkins, and I'm a warrior for truth. But let me tell you something. I was one of these kids. I was one of these kids, and I was allowed to be free. I was allowed to be free. I was allowed to be free. So tomorrow when we get up, today when we go home, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to grab every child and tell them you love them. Because they don't know what's going on. They don't know. But I do, you do, we all do. We love you. Do we love these kids? Now what I want you to do is I want y'all to hold hands. I want these kids to see this. See, this is what they don't want our kids to see. Now I want you to hold hands. And don't be afraid. I told you when I'm on the stage, I'm in charge. I want you to hold hands. And I want you to think of a meeting that would have possibly happened in my lifetime. When Malcolm and Martin and all the great leaders of our time, Jewish, white, wherever they were at that time, in a room talking about how to save America for the children of their time. Now I want y'all to keep holding each other's hands. And then I want you to look at each other, because I'm going to explain it, because I think people think when I do it, it's a part of a skit. It ain't a damn skit. It's what I'm telling you is the power of when we do it. Now, I want you to look at each other and say loudly, I love you. Now, let me tell you, there you go. There you go. Now, let me tell you why. 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 Because when we show each other love, we show the power of God, and they can't beat us. They can't. Now, keep your hands. Don't be lazy. You know, I always tell you that. I'm only joking. But I also want you to close your eyes. Now, close your eyes. I want them now to hear you in Colorado like I heard them in Colorado. I want you to inhale God. There you go. I hear it. And exhale fear. Now, every time you're home by yourself, or you're walking by yourself, or you're talking to a family member that you lost, and you feel fearful and you feel anxiety, inhale God and exhale fear. That's how we win. That's how we win. Now, I want you to keep your eyes closed, because we got these kids up here. We got these young adults up here, the future leaders up here. I want you to think about, what kind of world do you want for these children tomorrow? Is it a life of slavery and bondage, or a life of freedom and love? Now I got one more favor, because you know I always keep 42 in the back of my pocket for you. I want y'all to hug each other. I want these kids to see that real love. Hug each other. Thank you very much. Raise your hands up for these kids. Raise your hands up. Raise your hands up back there. Play that music. Play it up. Play it up. Raise those hands. I will not comply. Raise those hands. Keep your hands off our children. Raise your hands. Raise your hands. Raise your hands. You know why? You know why? You know why? Because love wins. Love wins. Love wins.
Hello. Jenkins, in light of something you said in the beginning, I want to remind everybody of a verse in the Bible. It's Matthew chapter 6, verse 25. He said in the beginning, to the people who are really worried at home. They don't know what's going to happen if they... can you hold this for me, bro? Might fall. Thank you, bro. Thank you. Are worrying about what might happen, you know, if you take your kids out of school, if you give up this job. There's a verse in the Bible. It's been an anthem for my life, and it's one of my favorite verses that I know it by memory. Matthew chapter 6, verse 25, and it goes like this: do not worry about your life, what you will eat or drink, or about your body, what you will wear. Is not life more important than food, and the body more important than clothes? Look at the birds of the air. They do not reap or sow or store away in barns, but yet your heavenly Father feeds them. How much more valuable are you than birds? So who of you by worrying can add a single hour to his life? Look at the lilies of the field. They do not labor or spin, but I tell you, not even Solomon in all of his splendor was dressed like one of these. If this is how God clothes the grass of the field, which is here today and is thrown into the fire tomorrow, how much more will he clothe you, O you of little faith? So do not worry, saying, what shall we eat? Or what shall we drink? Or what shall we wear? For the pagans run after all of these things, and your heavenly Father knows that you need them. Seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all of these things will be given to you as well. So do not worry about tomorrow, because tomorrow has enough trouble of its own.
All right. We got Bible verses now. Now we're rocking. And now I want to introduce a brave mom and a brave teacher who has been on unpaid leave for months. I guess it's been months. And she is brave. And you can find her on Instagram. She's New York. Oh, do not comply NYC. Okay, so do not comply. Welcome, Rachel Maniscalco.
Oh my gosh, I don't think I can follow him though. He's just too good. And I have things written down because this is still kind of new for me. I only really spoke out for the first time in August. So I have things written down. Love you guys. So I wanted to talk about 2 months ago because a lot of people are going through what we went through in August. And you know, even when the mayor says, you know, the new mandates, and it's like PTSD, like it feels like August all over again. Like when the mayor said it for the municipal workers, the rest of the city workers, like I cried that morning because I felt like it was us again. But I was really naive, I think, back then. I was naive to think that the courts would hear us and would side with us because I thought it was a done deal. You know, how could they possibly think that this was legal to tell people to inject themselves with something experimental? And I thought, oh, I'm going to just waltz into the lawyer's office and I'm going to sue de Blasio and I'm going to sue everybody and it's going to be over and, and that's it. And I was a fool for that, not for fighting. And I don't take back anything that I did or said, and I will never comply, and you know that. And I'm on unpaid leave since September. I didn't go back to work. After we lost our injunction, I never went back. So then I thought the unions would save us because we've paid them a lot of money over the years, and I thought that, they would speak for all of us, vaccinated and unvaccinated, because that's their job, and they didn't. They failed us. They failed us greatly. And if we could go up against them and sue them, I would absolutely take that up. And then I thought that, well, we have 30,000 DOE employees, and we'll win on that because we're going to hold the line. We're all going to hold the line. And one by one, they picked us off, and 8,000 are left. 8,000 of us are still here. Raise your hands if you're an unpaid DOE employee. And you know what transpired? Because we are not there. Violence in the schools, guns in the schools, school stabbings. You're not hearing about this on the news. And kids are not getting mandated services. And DOE employees who got the shot are very sick. 2 of them have died and you don't hear about it. At least 2 that I know of. And others reach out to me and say that they are paralyzed on their left side. A 50-year-old man reached out to me and has myocarditis. Someone had to get a blood transfusion. They're heartbreaking stories, and we are telling their stories because the news is not telling their stories. And it's important to tell their stories because they are telling the truth, and we believe them. And substitutes, they didn't even have a shot. They were just fired. Unfortunately, it's awful. It's just... But once again, I naively thought, okay, the parents now. The parents are going to see that their kids aren't getting services, and the parents are going to see the violence in the schools, and they are going to rise up and be the revolution. They're not. Where are they? Where are the parents? As long as someone is putting on a movie for their kids and babysitting their kids, they A lot of them, I'm not going to say all because we are here, but a lot of them don't care. And they don't care that their children's teachers are not their children's teachers anymore. Exactly right. And so now here we are. And Adams is the next mayor. And unvaccinated city workers are being replaced by unvaccinated National Guard. And on Monday, there will be vaccine pop-ups at your child's elementary school. On Monday. So am I naive again to think that the parents now will stand up and say no to their babies being injected with poison? I hope I'm not. I hope that we finally take a stand. Because I know that people who wanted the shot and didn't, and complied or didn't comply, I know that they still don't want this for their children. So now it is time for the parents to rise up. And I really wondered how the energy would be after last night. But you know what? Look at this. Look at this community that's still here and still fighting. This is powerful. And it's tempting to move out of the state. It really is. Other states are free. They're free. They're not wearing masks. They're not being mandated. There's incentives to move to Florida. And we all, right? Don't we think about it? I think about it. I think about it a lot. But we can't leave. We can't leave because we are needed here more now than ever. Your children need us. And this is our new community. As Mr. Jenkins said, these are our new friends. And we can't abandon them. And we can't abandon these babies. There is a need here now more than ever. And we have to form our own society. We have to form our own healthcare, our own businesses, and our own education. 150,000 students have already left the public school system. And now there is going to be a great need for the parents who need to pull out their kids. And so I'm going to be hosting a webinar Monday. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you should. It's Do Not Comply NYC. You will be asked if you are sure you want to follow me. And you say yes. And you follow me because I'm going to be teaching you how to homeschool. I did it last year with my 4th grader. I put her in private this year because she was lonely. And she said, Mommy, I'm lonely. And I said, okay. So I put her in a private school, but she's coming right out of there because she's not wearing a mask next year. She's never getting this vaccine. And I'm going to open something on Staten Island in January, and she's going to get the socialization that she needs and the academics that she needs without the bullshit. So, Monday evening, I will be hosting a webinar. If you're in Staten Island and you want to reach out to me and you want to pull your kids out, I am here to help you. I have a 5-month-old who usually comes with me. She's not here today. It's kind of cold. I have a 10-year-old as well. We are going to rally around these children. And we are going to provide them with the education they need, and they're going to have a normal life and a normal childhood. Okay? Like what we were afforded, because I didn't go to school with a mask on, and I didn't get experimental injections in order to eat my lunch, or in order to participate in sports and theater and everything that we got to do. These kids need to do those things in a normal atmosphere, and there will be homeschooling pods in every borough. I've already been in touch with people, telling people how to do it, and we're going to build a community, and we're going to do it ourselves. So if you want to learn how to do it, if you want to do it yourself, if you're a teacher who's interested, if you're a parent who's interested, reach out to me. Do Not Comply NYC on Instagram. Monday night, I want to say 7 p.m. I think that's a pretty good time. It's probably going to take at least an hour or two. And that is what will be going on, and you're going to learn so much. And moving forward, it's not going to be 150,000 leaving the public school system. It's going to be millions.
Thank you, Rachel. Now I want to welcome Derek Gibson, who's running for governor. And he's been at quite a few rallies in New York and speaking up against medical mandates. Welcome, Derek.
Good afternoon. Thank God he allowed me to be here today against you freedom fighters. I am here with you 100%. Dr. Martin Luther King said he had a dream. Today we have a demand. We have a demand that the mayor rescind all of these idiotic policies that they are putting in place. We will not comply. Our kids will not stay masked in school. Take those masks off our children, we demand it. Our kids will not get the vaccine. It's your body, your choice. It's like they like to scream. We are not going for it today. We are not going for it tomorrow. As governor, I will enforce, I will kill all the bullshit COVID regulation that is going on in your state. We are one race. We are one people. We are many fighting against tyranny. Some people say you need to up your communication skills. I say you get to hear what I'm saying. We're going to have freedom. We're going to demand freedom because we are free people. We are not enslaved. We are free. Fight for your kids' freedom. If you don't, they are going to be enslaved to the government. Today I ask you to support me. Get my message out across New York State. I am a Republican, but I'm not weak. I'm not spineless. I'm not PC. And I'm going to bring your voice to the governor's mansion. And you are going to govern. Keep up the fight. Like I said, your body, your choice. Make them respect your opinion. Can I get y'all to chant USA? USA! 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 Thank y'all and have a blessed day.
So, it is my honor and my privilege to introduce the next speaker. Back in August, as we were planning a rally for August 25th that happened right here, we had over 3,000 people. The very first person to confirm and say he was willing to speak is about to come up right now. He is an amazing New Yorker. He is an amazing activist, and he is the transit and labor leader in New York City. From Progressive Action TV, ladies and gentlemen, I give to you Tremel Thompson.
New York City, make some noise. Let them know you ain't here today. Who got the power? We got the power. Who got the power? We got the power. Louder, that don't sound like power. Who got the power? We got the power. Who got the power? We got the power. There we go, there we go. Now I want to talk about the 5 freedoms of being a citizen in the United States. You got religion, you have speech, you have press, you have assembly, and you have the right to petition the government. When I think of American citizens, I think of you guys because that's why y'all here today. Put those American flags up. Now I want to make this clear. I'm a transit worker. I'm not standing here with you guys today because I'm a transit worker. I'm not standing here with teachers. I'm not standing here with NYPD. I'm not standing here with FDNY. I'm standing here as an American citizen. I want to make that clear, as an American citizen. Now, one of the things that I fight for a lot of labor rights in New York City. And I find it strange
that the people who's gainfully employed is being treated worse than the people who's destroying our city. I don't understand how they even come to that conclusion, right? It makes absolutely no sense. Absolutely no sense. I gotta make this fast because I see the speakers about to go out. But check this out. The last 4 letters in American is I can. It's I can. So when I point to you guys, I want you to say I can. Let's try it. I can. Let's try it. I can. Say no to mandates. I can. And will protect our children. I can. Stand up for what's right. I can. Right to assemble. I can. I ain't point, y'all moving too quick. Now look, I want to explain this fist on my jacket because a lot of people think, oh, he's black, this means black power, this means, I want to explain. I never had to explain this before, but I'm explaining now. And I want to get back to those 5 American freedoms that we have. Everybody hold their hand up in the air. And every time I say one, I want you to put a finger down. Religion, press, speech, assembly, right to petition the government. What we have. When we bring this together, we can't be defeated. This is power. Let's go, New York City. Y'all have a great day. I got to get back to the fight. This is only part of it, but the real fight. Oh, one more thing. If you control the narrative, you control the war. One of the reasons I started Progressive Action TV, which gets more views, some of my shows get more views than NBC, ABC, but they ain't talking about that. I need you guys to follow it on Facebook. It's Progressive Action TV, and follow our Twitter, Progressive Act. Remember this fist, and remember the power. Let me hear y'all, New York City.
Thank you, Jamel. So, I'm Heather Berman. A lot of you have seen me before. I represent the artists all over the world, really. How many artists do I got here today? Yes, I see some friends here today. Yes, artists, actors, crew, everybody. Do you realize there are millions of people who've been under medical mandates since last summer? A lot of my friends have been, they've been forced to do the PCR test hundreds of times now just to work one day on, well, many days on a movie set or a TV set. And the thing is, I decided I wasn't going to do that because I'm already vaccine injured from the tetanus 4 years ago. And I follow holistic health for my health, and I've been healing all these years with holistic health. So I wasn't going to follow those medical mandates because I knew they weren't going to be good for me. And for years, I didn't want to get disability because I didn't want to be disabled, right? But I have multiple sclerosis. And if I don't take care of every little part of it, I collapse. Literally collapse. Some people saw it happen the other day. I'm using the skills that I've been using for many, many years in this business. I'm an actor, a professional speaker, a corporate speaker, a choreographer, a dancer, a former rockette. Why? When you are in my business, if you don't juggle a million different things and learn how to do a million different things, you won't have food on your table. So there's something about artists. We have resilience. Many of the artists that you see, at the restaurant serving you, they're artists. And why? They want to stay in their art because it's their passion. It is what they came here to do. It's their sole purpose. And they will do it come hell or high water. And when I came here in 1987, hopeful, I almost got a Broadway show within a month. And the summer before, I was here for 1 week. I auditioned, got summer stock, and my equity card. I had a commercial running. I was already a professional by the time I was really young. 16, I was getting paid. So there's something that we can help all of you understand, and it's just because it's how we live. The minute you become an artist, you hang up a shingle and you're an entrepreneur. And if you're not going to make it. And I've made it. I'm not famous, but I've lived my whole life within the industry. And guess what? I've been on the streets helping a variety of different people produce these rallies. and we've been helping each other to produce them, not making any money. But here's what I want you to know. When you stand with God and you do your passion, not for money, but because you love it. A lot of artists, we do a million things without money. We rehearse, we audition, we practice. We don't get money for that. We have the hope of getting money. Well, here's the thing. I've been doing it all these months, and not only do I have my own entertainment company, well, I have a beautiful ballroom couple that's performing at a very high-end wedding coming up. And then the other day when I was at a rally, we were in Brooklyn, a man came up to me and he said, "You're the actress, aren't you? Well, I think you'd be right for my film that I'm going to be doing in a few months." So that's what happens when you stand in your power and you believe in God and God's help. If you live your passion every day and you give, say, "God, I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to do the best I can," you all will be able to recreate your life. Trust me, everybody's doing it. Nurse Donna's doing it. Rachel's doing it. We're all doing it. Kristen. Many of us are already doing it. If you want help, just come over and talk to me. I love helping people. I've been recreating my life for years. I've had injuries. I've had to be an executive recruiter. Do you think that's what I wanted to do? No, I had to. But you know what? I learned a lot when I did it. And I was also a teaching artist. So what I'm going to tell you is we can all recreate. We just got to get quiet, ask God, and you can still live your passion. You will be able to live your passion. I'm telling you. I have lived it. I've lived 9 lives now, and I'm recreating again. So just keep having hope, keep praying, get quiet, and you're going to get your own answers. And your answers are going to be very special for you. They're going to be given to you by your guardian angel, God, and your company of heaven, right? And every day you're going to get your downloads, and they're going to be very special just for you. Okay, so anyway, that's my message, and I'm gonna welcome, and I don't have my notes. I gotta pull up my notes because I don't know everybody. I'm just meeting some people. I just met this gentleman up in the Bronx, actually on Friday, because I went to a rally up there, and I want to make sure that I say his name correctly because it's a wonderful name. Alpheus Marcus, wonderful name. And he was running as a candidate for city council in Harlem, and I just met him on last Friday. So excuse me for messing up your name a little bit, but welcome. Let's hear from somebody who is really helping his community.
Thank you. How you doing, people? My name is Alpheus Marcus, and as you heard, I was a candidate for city council, but I'm a community advocate. And one of the things that I do is go against some of these politicians with some of the most outrageous things that they do. One of the reasons why we're here is due to the contradictions that's been perpetuated by both media and Dr. Fauci. Right? We can't wait for him to be put in handcuffs for the countless lives. Right? That's the problem that we have, because that's what we're waiting on. We've seen the various contradictions in regards to what's going on with this COVID thing. We've even watched, speak up, we've even watched Event 201, if anybody have seen it. We've seen that this here, what's going on, is the same narrative, and they've changed the narrative, and they want us to forget that originally they were saying those that get affected by that 80% of the people that get COVID, 98 to 99 would fully recover, and the 20%, as well as those with underlying conditions, would be the ones that we'd have to watch out for. And what we see from the CDC is that 76% of the people that's died from COVID has been 65 years and older. The same 20% that they said would be affected. They've told us in the beginning that this vaccine would keep us from getting COVID. And then we wind up seeing that people that got the vaccine develop COVID. Right? We've seen that. We didn't forget the narrative that they kept telling us, right? They also told us that you wouldn't die if you got the vaccine, and then somehow people was dying from the vaccine. So now it became you won't die as harsh if you got the vaccine. You won't die as harsh, but the end result is you will die, right? You can't get the COVID if you take the vaccine, but somehow people have developed COVID despite getting the vaccine. But you want to mandate people to get a vaccine that you've proven you can't trust. And now you want to mandate our children. That's a problem, right? And then you look at what they're doing. They're giving us monetary incentives for you to take the vaccine. Now, from what I'm understanding, they're giving children candy coming this up week for the kids to get the vaccine. Right? That's a problem. That's why we're here. This just shows us how greedy our local elected officials have been and mistrust they've been when it comes down to what it is that affect the people. Right? We can't allow that to take place. And I literally thank all the leaders who've organized this, because we need more people to fight for our communities. It's important. Remember last year they told us the essential workers was important? They was around all the people that died from COVID. But yet they had do not resuscitate orders, right? Remember they had the doctors having to sign the non-disclosure agreements about what's really taking place. Remember all these things? Remember in the beginning of COVID, the elderly and everybody that was dying? And we're pretty sure that many of them had house pets. But they tested a tiger in a Bronx zoo and told us that he developed COVID from his handler. Do y'all remember that? See, they thought we forgot that. And that's one of the reasons why we don't trust when they say that we're going to mandate you to take a vaccine to keep you from feeding your families. Yeah, I wouldn't do it either. Look, I wouldn't do it either. But this is what they brought about for our people. They want us to forget some of the lies that they told, right? Many different lies, so we can't trust them. That's right. And the adverse reactions. How come they never reported the adverse reactions? Because if they report them, right, we would have more people than what we have here right now. That's why. We need to literally order that they be truthful with us and stop playing with us. Because they're playing with our children and they're playing with our lives. And that's a problem. I want y'all to stand up for what it is that y'all believe in and send a message to these elected officials that we will not go for this. And we will not have them playing with our children. Because in some of the communities, a lot of parents are afraid that their children might not make it to see their teenage years due to the gun violence that they failed to address. That's right. So if they fail to address that, they literally failed to address this vaccine. And we can't trust it. And I thank y'all for being here, and I thank the organizers.
Thank you. So now I want to welcome up Allison Cruz, who spoke for the very first time about a week ago. She is a Starbucks manager, and they have her on unpaid leave now, and they're threatening and coercing her to get this injection. That's right. Coercion is not consent. 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 Welcome, Allison.
New York, make some noise! Woo! I'm Allison.
26 years old. Last week, I spoke for the first time for the restaurant business. For the young waitress and cook, the busboy and the college students working at these liberal fast food chains. Because we're all in this together. I worked for Starbucks for 6 years. And now I can't work because I'm not vaccinated. See, Starbucks, just like most of these corporations last year, put up an artsy sign about diversity in front of their building. But they don't know anything about nurturing our mind, our body, or our spirit. See, Starbucks, a company that back in spring of 2018 shut down thousands of stores around the city for a racial bias training to teach about inclusion. Starbucks, a company that made everyone wear pride shirts in June and BLM shirts in the summer, now discriminating against a young Hispanic woman for making her own medical decision. And I will not back down. These companies, celebrities, politicians have all thrived on pretending to care about our individual identities for popularity. It's called pandering. And Starbucks isn't the only example. They have the nerve to put Whoopi Goldberg making COVID announcements in the train station, talking about wearing a mask. Whoopi, I liked you in Ghost. Stick to acting. You have huge Greyhound buses in the hoods where I'm from. Crown Heights, Brooklyn, Jamaica, Queens. Offering people $100 to get vaccinated. Wait. And let's not forget the dozens of annoying commercials of regular black families claiming to trust the shot. But the numbers aren't adding up. Blacks and Hispanics are the least vaccinated, and that's why they resort to these stunts. It's called desperation. Look, being a minority is a state of mind, and I am not what these liberal politicians project onto me. Because putting a celebrity to speak in the subways, offering $100, and putting people that speak like me and look like me on TV like guinea pigs is not going to make me inject myself. And let me tell you, I love my country, but I do not trust our government. I only trust God. There's a reason they want to change the meaning of scriptures, and they want to hold the Constitution as a living organism. They want to poison us in every way they can. The Bible and the Constitution today do not evolve. They remain the same the way God intended. And no paid politician or pedophile politician can change that. The Bible says, resist him firm in your faith, knowing that the same kinds of suffering are being experienced by your brotherhood throughout the world. Resisting the devil is resisting the job, the corporation. Resisting the raise, the money, resisting these illegal mandates. You must strengthen your relationship with God in whatever way that looks to you, because this fight is not only physical, but spiritual. I leave here saying, do not comply, do not give up, talk to God, and stop buying Starbucks.
Boycott Starbucks! Okay. Our next speaker is a 23-year DOE employee, Muwali Oliveri. Did I say that right, Muwali? Okay, it's close. All right.
What up, world? What up, y'all? What up? What's good? Make some noise out here, y'all. Come on. Make some noise out here, y'all. We out here. We out here. We outside, y'all. We outside. You know what I'm saying? We outside. Look, let me tell y'all something. Look, when I was a kid growing up in Brooklyn, I lived on the 4th floor. They used to be like, yo, Mo. And I walk out, you know, my mom's a strict, she ain't play. I used to like, yo, what up, yo? They be like, yo, you coming outside? I be like, nah, man, I got in trouble. I can't come out today. So right now I'm telling y'all, I'm outside, y'all. We outside. You heard me? So look, I need y'all to vibe with me right now because right now it's tribe season. Y'all understand that? It's tribe season. You gotta find your tribe. Y'all my tribe right now. So you gotta squad up. So when I say squad, I need y'all to say squad. But I need you to tuck it in like squad. Right? When I say squad, I want y'all to go squad. Y'all ready? Squad. 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 It's tribe season, y'all. Find your tribe, you know what I'm saying? So look, let me tell y'all a story. I've been teaching with the Department of Education for 23 years. 23 years and more. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of times I'm the only black man in my school, walking with a lot of women. I love y'all. You know what I'm saying? Love y'all. You know what I'm saying? But the real talk is that, look, our kids don't see a lot of us. And right now I'm not with them because I don't teach my kids to do as I say. I teach them to do as I do. Do as I do. So if I'm telling y'all to stand up for what's right, and the mandates come down and I'm telling y'all that's wrong, I'm standing up. So when they don't see me in the school, they go, yo, Mr. O standing up. You understand what I'm saying? Mr. O standing up. That's why I'm not here. So when the teachers call me up, they like, yo, how you doing? I'm like, yo, I'm standing up. They're like, we know that. We know that. You know what I'm saying? So look, let me tell y'all something. This is a people's movement. This is a people's movement. And let me show y'all something. Nothing don't change in the world if the people don't move. Let me say that one more time. Nothing don't change in the world if the people don't move. Let me take y'all back. Word up. Let me take y'all back. Let me show you something. Back in the Bible days, when God wanted to free the people, he didn't tell the Pharaoh, yo, Pharaoh, let my people go. No, he spoke to his people, Moses. And then Moses was like, look, people, I'm going to go talk to the Pharaoh because God said we got to move. And then when the Pharaoh said, nah, I can't let them go, what did the people do? They moved. You understand what I'm saying? And let's bring it back to, let's look at history. Let's look at United States history. The Revolutionary War. Them white boys, they wasn't playing. Them white boys was like, yo, we ain't fucking with them. You know what we gonna do? We gonna oppose the what you call it, the redcoats in them. Boston Massacre, right? They wasn't playing. You know what I'm saying? Right, I'm getting to that too. Hold up, I'm getting there. And then the white boys came back again, like, yo, look, they want us to drink this tea right here. That tea ain't making us no money. Let's go and throw that tea in the water. You understand what I'm saying? So the people moved before the legislation came. I want y'all to understand that. The people moved first. And we could go down the line. You can look at the Irish history. You know what I'm saying? The Irish Parliament people, I don't know the history, but I know. Before 1949, before they had the independence from the British, the Irish moved first. The people moved first. I want y'all to understand that. And then, y'all talking about Emancipation Proclamation. Before the Emancipation Proclamation, the people moved first. Because what happened in Haiti, back in, was it 1791? The Haitian Revolution, they moved, right? And then that Haitian Revolution led to the Louisiana Revolution, the slave revolt in Louisiana. You get what I'm saying? And then you got people like Frederick Douglass that's like, look, I'm moving, I'm emancipating myself. The people move first. I need y'all to understand that. And then Harriet Tubman, this was before the Emancipation Proclamation. Before the government decided to get on board, the people moved first. You understand that? And you know, you know, Michael came over here. He talked about the twin or the other case, right? You know, that was us he's talking about. That's our group. Michael Caine was talking about, right? That's our group. He was talking about that we filed a sister case. That's our case. You know what I'm saying? So stand up. So understand this. Look, the 1964 Civil Rights Act, before they signed that law, first, they had a war. They in Birmingham, Alabama. You know what the cops did? They hosed down the people first. They brought the dogs against the people first. Before that law was signed, the people moved first. You understand what I'm saying? So right now, we are the people. We are the people. Now it's our time to move. Now it's our time to move. Now it's our time to move. Yo, y'all paying attention? What's up? Y'all paying attention? Thank you. You know what I'm saying? Look, we outside. We outside. That's right. We outside, no doubt. Look, let me tell y'all something. We ain't going nowhere. We about to make history. Let me show y'all. Listen to this. The new pages of history is being written right now. Yo, I'm telling you, my daughter's gonna read about this movement right now. Yo, I'm a history teacher, and I'm telling you, I read about the Clinton scandal when I was teaching, and I lived through that. So now our kids are gonna read about this moment right now. All of y'all that's outside, is making that happen. So look, I don't want to take up too much time because I know we got a lot more speakers, but I do want to leave with this. Look, this is not about blackness. This is not about whiteness. This is not about Asianness. Right? This is a people's movement. This is a people's movement. Look, every single one of you right now, y'all got a little something inside of you that was like, yo, I'm not taking that. Let me tell you what that little something is. That's the God inside of you. The God inside of you was like, nah, I ain't taking that. You understand what I'm saying? So look, I just want to remind y'all that we have an oral argument happening on November 10th. Right? That's a prayer visual. You see they got the music. They're trying to run me off the stage, right? But, you know what I'm saying? Look. We need everybody to be there. Together, like Mike said, no signs, no flags, no nothing. Just the people. Why? Because this is a spiritual war. And we gotta fight this war in the physical and in the spiritual. So we coming out there to pray. Bring your Bible if you got to. You know what I'm saying? Tell your pastor to come through. You know what I'm saying? Tell your neighbor to come through. You get what I'm saying? Bring your Bibles, come out. Let's enjoy this movement. Yo, I love y'all. I'm out. Oh, don't forget, to fight these cases costs money. So please donate at educatorsforfreedom.com. Educatorsforfreedom.com. Follow Educators for Freedom on Instagram. You can follow me at Mo Oliver too. But please donate, y'all, please. I love y'all. I'm out now for real.
Okay, so I just want to let everybody know, if you see these wonderful posters, these are from Josh Coleman. He sent them from California for us because he sees all the work we're doing here. And if you don't know Josh Coleman, he's been fighting against these vaccine mandates for children for years. And These for Vaccine is his organization. You can find him on Instagram, on the internet. And thank you, Josh Coleman! And anybody who really, really wants one, they're free. They were donated by him. So come up after our next speaker, and you can use it as we are going, when we leave here. We have one more speaker, a very important speaker. After our last speaker, we're going to march across. We're going to march. Oh, which way direction are we going? We're going this way, and we're going to march over around to the Brooklyn side and go across the bridge. Okay, to Brooklyn Borough Hall. Okay. So, without further ado, you want to say okay? Okay.
So when I saw Joe come onto the scene, I was like, who is this girl? Okay? Where's she been hiding out? But you know when you see someone and they're kindred, they're your spirit is walking around, you feel it, you feel their power, their energy, their love. Well, we were at one rally and I just started crying. I looked at Joe and I said, wow. God bless her. She's got a little bit of a potty mouth sometimes, but so be it. She is fire. Joe, we love you. Thank you for fighting. Thank you for fighting.
Oh my God, it's cold today. It is so cold. So cold. But like a lot of the speakers said, my main focus in all of this, I'm not a mother, okay? I used to work for the school system. I was a paraprofessional, which was a teacher assistant. I was assigned one student who had severe mental illness problems. She was schizophrenic. My last day of work, I had to tell the mom, because I already built a bond with both the student and the parents, I had to let her know that it was my last day. Wow. The mother told me, why don't you just go get the vaccine? Who's going to take care of my child now? Wow. Okay? I don't want people to be mad at the mother, okay? She told me that she took the vaccine herself and that she was fine. My parents took the vaccines themselves too. And for now, they're fine. And I hope that nothing happens to my parents. I don't wish any ill on anyone that took this vaccine, because we have to understand where people are coming from, even though it gets us angry. And even though we want to save these people, we can't save everyone. Because in 2020, I want to take you guys back on my journey on how I started doing this. March 2020, immediately, as soon as they sent me home from the school system and told me that I was going to work remotely, at first I was happy because, hey, I wanted to take a break. I wanted to stay home. I'm not even going to lie. I'm going to be very honest about that. But once they started saying what jobs were essential, once they started saying you can't travel, once they started saying you can't go to church, okay? And it happened globally because this is a global coup, all right? They want to talk that January 6th was an insurrection. But how come we don't talk about this global coup? Because these world leaders, they are colluding. They are colluding, okay? This is not a coincidence. This is not a coincidence. These world leaders, they have been meeting for decades in secret, discussing our lives and the plans that they have for us, and we don't know anything about it. For decades, we remain ignorant and entertained to death with television, television. We remain dumbed down through the school system. I work in the school system, and I can attest to that. The school system is nothing but an indoctrination camp, and I myself, I am a product of the public school system. God forbid that you don't agree with a teacher. God forbid that you want to ask a question. God forbid that you right now, as a student in the 2021 school year, that you say that you don't abide by pronouns. God forbid that you don't follow along with the plans that they have for the children. You'll be punished and ostracized by their own teachers. Now, I'm not saying that all the teachers are bad, but what I'm trying to tell you is that these people at the top and the curriculum that they're giving your children are nothing but Marxist ideologies. Then you want your children to be independent thinkers like me or like any of you out here. Because why? You want to know what happens if you're an independent thinker? You are a threat to the establishment. You are a threat to this new world order that they're trying to establish. That's on the back of our own dollar bill. New world order. And people say that it's a conspiracy theory. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's a conspiracy. A conspiracy is when a group of people gather and they plan to do something. The world leaders, the elite bankers have been planning since the very beginning of this country to take over every man, woman, and child on this planet. It doesn't matter if you're a Republican. It doesn't matter if you're a Democrat. I'm a registered Republican. And I can attest that both sides are working together to destroy us. And it's only us, the people, that can do something about it. It's only us, the people. That's it. Like it was stated, there's no one, there's no man, there's no politician that's going to save us. Yesterday, I was upset and I already knew that Eric Adams, the puppet, the Blasio Part 2, or as I call him, the Blasio in Black Scheme, because just because he's black, okay, just because he's black does not mean that he's for you, all right? Puppets and sellouts come out in all religions, in all socio-economic backgrounds, and in all political parties. Do not get fooled. Do not get fooled, okay? He's the Blasio Part 2, and the Blasio passed the torch to him so that he can finish the job of destroying the greatest city in the world. And it is all by design, because you have to ask yourself, in one mental state that Blasio is on, what he can get on your television and tell you that New York City is safe, that the schools are safe to go to, that you can ride the train in peace. You have to ask yourself, he's reading a script, and who's feeding him the script? The people at the top, the people that pay them money. Because no one that really cares about you, they will not coerce you. They will say, you know what, so-and-so, I don't agree with you, but I'm going to respect your opinion. These people have no respect for any of us. And it's on our tax dollars, all right? On your tax dollars and on my tax dollars. These people have decided that they are now dictators. We're not living in a free America. We're no longer in a free society. And what people need to understand is that New York City, like it was stated, is the epicenter. There have been times, I'm going to be honest, I've been tempted to move, all right? My parents, they're never going to leave New York City. That's fine. But the problem comes that freedom is on our shoulders, all right? The whole world is expecting for us to stand up. America needs to stand up. I don't care if you're in New York or not. You need to stand up for everyone, especially for the children. If the children can no longer be free, then we as a society, we have failed them, all right? The generation is not going to move forward if these children are not free. And I think that we need a new system, because the system that was implemented was put up against us from the very beginning. We have the banking system that is a slavery system. All right? We have the school system that is an indoctrination camp system. We have mainstream media that is put there to take a hold of your mind and your perception, and they lie to you every day that you turn on. I don't own a TV. I don't own a TV. At the age of 16, I gave it up. You want to know why I gave it up? Behold a Pale Horse by William Cooper. I read that book and I said, not me, not me. I took the television box, the idiot box, out of my room, and my mother called my family members thinking that I was having a mental health crisis. She couldn't understand as to why I would give it up. You want to know why? Green screen, they lie to you. It's a fear machine. Every crisis, after every crisis that we ever had, 9/11, etc., it always comes in with some new law. But the new law that's put in takes away our freedom and gives them more power. Isn't it about time that we start to think that perhaps this crisis are all orchestrated? It's not a conspiracy theory. It should logic and common sense follows. Because people always ask me and tell me, well, you're not a doctor. Well, you're not an expert. Let me tell you, I'm a college dropout. I'm a college dropout. But you know what I have that there's no man, woman, no institution can take away from me? It's called discernment. All right? Discernment. I don't need to have a college degree to call out bullshit. I don't need to have a college degree to know that Anthony Fauci is a freaking liar. It needs to be arrested for crimes against humanity. All these people need to be arrested and tried for crimes against humanity. Crimes against the people. As a child whose parents came from the Dominican Republic, I was born and raised here in the Bronx. I lived there for 4 years, and during that time in the 90s, it was extremely poor, extremely poor. So when people want to get in my face to tell me that millions of people have died of COVID, and because of their deaths that we should give our individual freedoms, I remember that when I lived in Dominican Republic, we didn't have a toilet. It was a hole in the ground, all right? When hurricane season came in, there was no water supply. So we had to go far away from where we lived to go get water to drink and water to take a bath. So you know what the government did over there? They did nothing. Hence why my family came over to this country to get financial opportunities. 9 million people die of hunger every single year globally. Every 10 seconds, a child dies of hunger. How many of us here have given up our food or stopped eating because people die of hunger every 10 seconds? How many of you have stopped eating? How many of you stopped eating? How many of you lost sleep at night because people were dying of poverty and starvation? Or because people didn't have clean water or proper education? How many of us stopped living our lives? How many of you stopped sending your children to school because somewhere in the Dominican Republic a child can't even go to school? No one. You want to know why? Because at the end of the day, this is all about individual freedoms, and at the end of the day, our world leaders have failed us because they only care about getting money for their own pockets. They don't care about the citizens of our countries. They don't. They don't. And this is the result of a narcissistic relationship, and I've spoken about it before. If some of you came from narcissistic families, dysfunctional homes, in which they establish a scapegoat, which is the unvaccinated, and then they establish the golden child, who is the one that complies even when they see that their parent, aka the government, is being abusive. This is exactly what's happening, and I advise all of you that are here today, that are listening, look into the relationship of a narcissistic family, of a golden child, and the scapegoat, so that psychologically, because this was stated, this is about power and control, the economy. It's spiritual, but it's also psychological. All right? This is how they're able to divide and conquer, because narcissists divide and conquer. And I grew up in that, you know, my family was like that. And it took me years reading psychology books to understand what happened to me in my childhood. And once I understood, I was able to realize and see it everywhere else. And you know what happens? In society, sometimes people have pedophiles in their family, but we don't talk about that. We're naval abusers because we don't want to talk about that. That's exactly what's happening. That's why you see sometimes some of your employers, your co-workers, your family members, your friends, they see you getting abused and we don't talk about it. Because you want to know why? They're scared of also being ostracized by the abuser. But people need to understand one main thing that happens when you are in a narcissistic family with the scapegoat and the golden child. It might seem like the golden child is getting better treatment temporarily. But you know what's the end game of the narcissist parents, aka our government? They're going to discard both. Once they use you, once they use those people that are complying, they're going to discard you too. Because the point was to divide the people so that we won't come together and stand up and say, you know what, you're not going to bully us anymore. That's the problem. If in the narcissistic family, the two kids realize that their parents are mentally ill and they come together, That's it. The parents can't win. The abusive parents cannot win, aka the government can't win. And that's what people need to realize. That's what they have done, divide people, black versus white, civilians versus the cops. All right? Christian versus Jew. It's all on purpose because they know that in order to be able to take over the people, you have to give them conflict. You have to give them fear. And then boom, they come in, and they take control of the people. That's what they've been doing for decades. It's a whole psychological operation. This whole COVID stuff is a psychological operation. That's why you see Dr. Fauci, no mask doesn't work. It's a false sense of security. Then get the vaccine, you have to wear 2 to 3 masks. It's all a scam. It's a scam, all right? The masks were put on the slaves, if you didn't know, because the slaves were considered less than human. Masks are putting you to dehumanize you. Masks are putting you to keep you from speaking and connecting to one another. And as far as when it comes to children, the damage to some of these kids is going to be irreversible to some years to come. And I'm going to explain to you why. Children, in order to learn empathy, they need to be able to see facial expressions, all right? They did an experiment on psychology. It's called the still experiment, when a mom by a psychologist was instructed to go blank, not show any facial emotions to her child. You know what happened to that child? The child went through emotional distress, wanting to get that attention and love from their parents. So when then you're sending your small children, who also, by the way, they need to be able to read lips to learn how to speak. All right? And there's children that also have hearing disabilities. They need to be able to read lips. And oxygen is the essence of your life. So who are they to take that away from you? That's how much control they got over you, that they're telling you that they own you so much that they won't even allow you to breathe. I'm going to ask you a question. When we were born, did you ask your mom, the doctor, the nurse, or your father if you can breathe? You did it automatically because it's intended from God. If you don't breathe, you're dead. And you have to look at the symbolism of everything. They're depriving you of life. They're depriving you of communication. They're depriving you of your smile. They're depriving you of your own personal identity, which is our faces. Years ago before this, if I would have entered a bank with a mask on, it would have went like this. 911, I have a potential suspect. Arrest her. Now, I would have gone inside a bank showing my bare face. 911, we have a woman that's not wearing a mask. Arrest her. It's madness, and it's not meant to make sense because it's all about power and control. It's a new type of slavery, but it's digital. Tracking and tracing you. They want to have our medical records to be digital. You guys need to understand that. That's the end goal. Just because we don't have chains on our legs and feet doesn't mean that we're free. It doesn't. They gave us the phone so that it could be a walking GPS. It wasn't to help us. They gave us the internet so that they can see what the hell you're doing, what you buy, what you don't buy. They gave us the debit cards and the credit cards to track every transaction that you do, to keep tabs on you. It wasn't to help us. It wasn't to advance society. It wasn't to advance society, but to enslave you. Now we're going to march to Borough Hall, and thank every one of you for coming.
We're gonna march to Borough Hall this way. Are we going through the park stuff? I think we're going through the park. Let me find out which way, all right? Thank you all so much for coming, even if it's cold. We're not gonna stop until they stop. We won't stop. Until they stop, we won't stop.
The generator will stop before we stop. The generator will stop before we stop.
I think it's back now. Yes, I think I got to like everything that I wanted to get. There's a lot more that I could potentially say, but that's a lot. But anyways, we're gonna get the banner off. The banner off. We're gonna march. Rishi, where's Rishi? Okay.
What's your name?
Jen, you want to hold the banner? Eric Adams' office is by Borough Hall. That's why we're going there for Eric Adams. We just want to talk real quick, Eric Adams. New York style. I just want to talk to you real quick. Because we outside. Please do me a favor. I'm not trying to control everyone. Please stay behind the banner so we could be a little more coordinated, okay? If you guys can do me that favor, just stay behind the banner, all right?
No, I'm kidding. But I do subscribe.
We got the victory!
Because the two combined are not true. So, how are you? Rolling, all right, 1, 2, 3. All right, are we live? All right, we are live here in New York City, right down the street from City Hall, where maybe upwards of 1,000 people have come to protest the vaccine mandates that have gone into effect on October 29th, so about 4 days ago. A lot of people have been fired.
Who would like one of Josh Coleman's signs?
Have spoken against the mandates. Let's go and talk to some people who have come out. Actually, what about this guy here? You want to say a few words, sir?
Sure thing.
What brings you out here today?
We're here to raise awareness for mandates. No mandates, no vaccine, and also try to spread the word of how dangerous this vaccine is.
What do you say is the problem with the mandates? Why not a vaccine mandate?
Well, you're taking away choice. Once you start taking away choice, it's the beginning of communism, really. You know, especially with the children. We're all here. We're very active in our community with the schools, and we know that they're going to try to push this vaccine mandate next. Probably in January, we're hearing. And it's just criminal. They're not a risk. They're actually more risk adverse reactions from the shot than from this virus.
You have kids in school?
Well, actually, I removed them from school in September. We wouldn't do it if they went back with masks. Actually, our school district, Mocas Valley High School, is the only district that voted for pro-choice with the masks to come back in September. It wasn't until this new Governor Hochul, I call her Communist Hochul, it was until she sidestepped legislation and went straight to the health department to mandate this mask wearing, okay? And it becomes a law now because the health department says it. But it's not a law, we didn't vote on it. She sidestepped legislation. The numbers aren't there, the kids aren't at risk. Like the woman just said, the kids are at risk for speaking and learning empathy. This is being lost. It's not about what's happening now. The question is, what are they going to ask our children to do in 10, 20 years from now? That's how this stuff happens. Who knows what a timeline is, really?
So you took your kids out, you're homeschooling them now?
We are, by definition, homeschooling. We go to a co-op to their place, and we work our butts off at home. My wife is a school teacher, believe it or not. And we hold our kids out of the public school systems. My friend Jesse as well. So it's at that time. Everyone I keep hearing, oh, once the shot gets mandated, that's when we're going to step in. That's when it's going to happen. That's when I'm going to, pull my kid or stand up and start going to the meetings. Well, they paved the road with this mask-wearing crap. There's more evidence out, peer-reviewed studies, that the masks are actually more dangerous. Between trapping bacteria on it, which is absolutely disgusting, and also lowering the oxygen in the lung tissue, which makes you more susceptible to viruses. I mean, it's simple virology. We figured this stuff out. I'm not a doctor, I don't claim to be, but I've done my homework. I know what's real and what's not. And if you haven't figured out that masks aren't working by now, well, then you haven't done your homework either. Just like that speaker said, children are suffering. That's why we're here.
What about you, Jesse? What brings you here?
They're mandating a shot based on statistics for a PCR test that is known to be inaccurate. So what are we all doing here? We're all in fear over all these numbers and data from all these deaths that they're claiming happened from a disease that they're using a test that's inaccurate. So right from the start, we're not, we're inaccurate. The standard and the variables are out of control. And now here we are mandating a vaccine for something that we're inaccurately testing from the beginning. Not to say that COVID doesn't exist, because that's not how we feel. But to go through these extreme measures and mandates,
So there's something that you need to know. Everyone needs to know this. what Jesse's talking about with this PCR test, they have been testing everyone at 40, 45 cycles, threshold cycles. If you take that swab and put it in there, you can find, at 45 cycles, you can find anything. AIDS, meningitis, you'll find anything. We have fragments of bacteria, viruses in our body, in our nose, in our filters. Everything is in it. That's what our body's doing. It's filtering it all out. Now, one way you know that this is a scam, they changed the cycle threshold rate. If you're vaccinated and you take a PCR test, please look it up and please spread
That's
this.
true, it's true. He's saying it's true.
Please
here,
spread
yeah.
this. They lowered the cycle threshold rate down to 28. So that the people who are vaccinated, it's going to look like there's less positive cases, like the vaccine's working. The efficacy is going to go up. Why are they changing the cycle rate? If we're at 40, keep it at 40. Come on, guys, wake up already.
No, it's inaccurate.
Okay, thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, so what he said is actually, we reported on our show Facts Matter that there is a different testing parameters, testing metrics that are used for vaccinated versus unvaccinated. If I have the opportunity, I'll put a link to it in the description box below this video later. So, do you have a couple of words to say? What brings you out here?
I'm here to support the cause, as we usually do, but something very exciting happened last night during the election. We have 3 new council members, hopefully 2 are confirmed, 1 still maybe, that are on record anti-vaccine mandate. They're not anti-vaxxers, some of them have taken the vaccine themselves, but they're against the mandate. Brian Fox, who's still waiting to hear, who's 1 percentage point ahead. And then we have Ina Vernikov in Brooklyn that won 2/3 of the vote, Republican. And also Nancy Ariola, also down in Sheepshead Bay, not Sheepshead Bay, I think it's Old Hard Beach and that surrounding area. So we're making inroads on the political front because it's great to have all these rallies. I fully support those, but we need to get the political capital to fight back.
Well, that's what I actually wanted to ask you, because it seems like with New York, especially with Eric Adams, right, it seems like it's going down this trajectory of more mandates. The mandates don't seem like they're going to be going away. Would you move away from New York, or would you kind of erode, like step by step, work through the political process?
I would never move away from New York. We're here to fight. And actually, New York and California are probably the worst states to be in right now, and this is where the battle is. And we're going to be here, and slowly but surely, we are gaining more support. We're just looking for common sense measures. So everything we said today is valid. There's no reason to stop society from doing everything for what has happened. But now we have the political tools to start making inroads on that front. Because I think grassroots activism is very important, but we really need to have the tools at the government level to do that. And we've had a huge success last night on this. And we supported them. Thank you very much.
Yeah, of course.
No, he talked to these guys, tell them Education for Freedom.
That's right, you're up on stage, right? You're a teacher.
Yes.
So what brings you out here today?
Educators for Freedom. That's who we are. We are educatorsforfreedom.com. Check us out. You know, right now we are pushing back against the mandate on religious grounds. You know, many teachers have applied for their religious exemption, but was denied, which is unlawful on so many levels. It's unlawful based on the First Amendment. It's unlawful based on the Civil Rights Acts of 1964. And we're just not accepting it. I mean, we liken this to a period when folks fought for us, when folks fought for the Civil Rights Act, and they were hosed down and they were, you know, attacked by the police department. And the legislators finally wrote in the bill, which was the Civil Rights Act of 1964. So history is kind of repeating itself. I look at it like that. I'm a teacher. I'm a history teacher, in fact. So there's no way, as a history teacher, I can teach my students about all that the United States have gone through, all the people have gone through all over the world to fight for their freedom, and now we have an opportunity to voice our opinion, to let people know that we have rights, that we are sovereign individuals, and I'm just going to lay down and let it happen. I have to advocate for my students by standing up. As I said before, I don't teach my kids to do as I say, I teach them to do as I do. So we can't have in our Bill of Rights the option to petition the government for redress of our grievances and not take it. So this is me addressing the government for my grievance. I have a grievance that you denied my religious freedom and others like me out here. So look, I'm voicing my opinion. My voice will be heard one way or the other, whether the media wants to cover this or not. We will cover it ourselves. This is what I'm doing.
So with the people that you said were denied their religious exemption, so if there is a religious exemption, what are you seeing as the reasons people are being denied? If it exists, why are they being denied it?
Well, they're picking and choosing. I mean, you can't pick and choose which religions to accept. That's just discrimination. You can't say, well, this one, not that one, this one, not that one. Where do we do that at? You know what I'm saying? We're going backwards as a country. So we're here to help the country continue to move forward.
Well, good luck. Thank you so much for speaking to us. So let's go. If you go on theepictimes.com, we're live streaming it there, and it'll be there afterwards. Yeah. Take care.
One more thing.
Yes.
You just asked me some questions earlier. I just want to say we're from the Medical Freedom. We're from the Medical Freedom Coalition, and one of our goals is to bring all the groups together, but most importantly, to gain that political influence. I was talking about earlier about the candidates we got on city council now who are supporting us. Medical Freedom Coalition.
You heard it here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Please, thank you.
By the way, I look at you all the time on the...
Oh, you hear that? We have a fan here.
I love it.
Thank you so much. Okay, November 6th. All right. Thank you. All right, so why don't we go? So right now, if you're still watching, if you're just tuning in, by the way, there were about 1,000 people here outside of City Hall protesting against the vaccine mandates. There was quite a few speeches, maybe about 2 hours worth of speeches. Let's see. What brings you out here today, sir?
So I'm just, I'm from Brooklyn, and yeah, the mandates brought me out here today. I'm just here. We're working with this organization over here, Project Stand Together. It's non-discrimination against everybody.
So if you can't see it, the sign says, "We do not discriminate against any customer based on sex, gender, race, creed, age, vaccinated or unvaccinated." So what's wrong with the vaccine mandates in your opinion?
Well, I just think that I just don't agree with the vaccine mandates. I think that everybody has the right to, continue to live their lives, and it's a decision that's up to us if we want to get vaccinated or not. And I feel that the government shouldn't be dictating how we decide to live our lives and what we do with our bodies.
Well said. Good luck. So out here, if you notice, so basically outside of City Hall, there's a rally, maybe up to 1,000 people were there, about 2 hours worth of speeches. Probably how many speakers would you say? Maybe a dozen speakers. And now people are marching, it seems like, across the Brooklyn Bridge, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go talk to some people, see what freaks them out there. What about this lady here? She's got two signs. Miss, would you mind if I ask her a few questions? Okay, well, she just wants...
I love your paper.
Thank you. I've seen a lot of people with this type of insignia here, this kind of Star of David looking thing that says "not vaccinated," harking back to the time of 1930s Germany. What does that mean to you?
It means to me that same thing that was in 1940 in Germany, in Poland, and part of Soviet Union when it was occupied. That this was marked Jewish who supposed to live in ghetto and eventually go in concentration camps.
Do you think with these mandates where people are starting to get segregated based on the status, do you see that going in that direction?
Yes, people are going to be segregated. People, even it cuts family, it cuts friendship. It's terrible. These mandates, it's just unacceptable.
Do you want to walk and talk, or are you starting to straggle behind everybody else?
Yes, this mandate is very bad. This is could be equal just Nazi. This is Nazi, like in concentration camp. Nazi used people to try some new pharmaceutical stuff, like new medicine. This is what exactly right now it's going to be.
Do you foresee yourself moving out of New York? Because it seems like these mandates, based on the election yesterday, they're not going to be going away. Will you stay here or move away?
I am staying here. I have family here. I am actually from New Jersey, and I still check our election will win. And yes, I am staying here. I love New York. I love New Jersey. I am not running away from here. I will fight here for freedom.
And what would you tell people who might be watching this at home and they support vaccine mandates, careful behind you, and they support vaccine mandates and they just think, people should just get the shot and not think about it so much? What would you tell them?
This is not right. This is vaccine is not developed. Nobody knows what will be long-term consequence from this. We should try not to do vaccinate, and especially not vaccinated young people.
That mandate too. I hate wearing these pants. That mandate really pisses me off.
All right, let's continue. So, thank you so much,
Take
miss.
it off, babe. Take your pants off, asshole.
By the way, which country are you from, ma'am?
Russia, ex-Soviet Union.
Okay, thank you. So she knows a thing or two about communism. All right, so we're sort of at the tail end. Why don't we continue going down here a little bit, so everybody kind of got ahead of us because we were back there interviewing people. So there's about, I would say, about 1,000 people right now marching across the bridge after the rally. If you're just tuning in, by the way, there was a rally over by City Hall. About 1,000 people came out against the vaccine mandates that have been imposed in New York City. If you don't know, on October 29th,
My body!
all the unvaccinated city workers were let go or put on unpaid leave.
My body!
Okay, what brings you guys out here today?
We believe that everyone should have a choice in whether or not they want to inject something in their body. And we believe that if we want to go somewhere, we shouldn't be forced. Like before, during the flu, you never had to get the flu shot. They never asked you for a passport saying, I have my flu shot. So why is it that they're pushing it so much now?
Are you in school?
Yes.
Do your like parents, I mean not parents, but teachers and classmates know that you think this way? No. Do you not tell them because you think they might push back against you? Yeah. Do you think there's going to be any vaccine mandates coming down in the school? And if so, what do you think you guys are going to do? You're going to continue going to school, or maybe do something else like homeschooling?
I think that it might happen. There's a possibility, but right now I think it's leaning towards that. And if that does happen, then I'm going to
get vaccinated. Get vaccinated, guys.
Either that or I'm moving out of the state.
Oh yeah. Do you have anything to add, sir?
No. Just like what you said, we will be homeschooling her. We will be taking her out of the public school system. We don't agree with the mask. We don't agree with the vaccine. Everybody should have their own choice when it comes to these things. If you feel it works, then go ahead. We don't have anything against you if you do it. We just want to have our own choice and our own liberty, which is what this country was founded on. I don't get what's so difficult about that. And yeah, as far as her going to school here, it won't happen if they go that dark and decide that they're going to force this down our throats.
So if it comes to that, you'll move out of the state?
More than likely, we'll be leaving the city, the state, and the school too. Yeah.
Good luck to you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you. So it's kind of split. The people I've been talking to, some people say they're going to stay here in New York and kind of continue, the advocacy work. Some people said that if it comes down to it, they're just going to move with these vaccine mandates, continue coming down the pipe.
We can't move.
No?
It's impossible for us to move. We're New Yorkers, and we are leading our nation because we've always led being in New York City. It is the most brightest and vibrant city on the planet. We have some of the smartest people here. Unfortunately, many people have been brainwashed and indoctrinated by the systems. And we need a stronger leadership, and we need, no mandates. This is totally unconstitutional. And anybody who's a lawyer, they are violating their oaths of office. That is treasonous. And they should be removed from public office permanently, fined, and jailed. Okay? There is a penal code, and it is treasonous for you to violate your office. All of you who are in public office agreeing to this and who are lawyers. And additionally, I don't know if you know this, we are here supporting the children not getting vaccines who are age 5 to 11. But did you know yesterday there were 200 children that were rescued in California on one of those cargo ships from China with kids from a variety of countries. That happened yesterday. So while everybody is talking about New York City and our children, we're talking about Texas children, we're talking about children in Michigan, we're talking about children all over the United States, because we are a republic and we are united. We are united in our position to be free and to make our own choices. And we have a constitution, and we have a Bill of Rights, and we have these documents that support us and that we can use them against anybody. And we have the Second Amendment, right? We have the right to carry guns. Maybe not in New York City, but we can carry a baseball bat if we have to.
Well, let me ask your opinion. So yesterday's election, Eric Adams won his pro-vaccine mandate. The CDC, the FDA approved vaccines for 5 to 11-year-olds. The CDC is coming together.
Diabolical.
So what's your
Diabolical.
But you still won't move out of New York City.
I won't move out of New York City. I will fight for my rights. I will fight for fellow Americans' rights. And we will make sure that people understand that their DNA is being destroyed and the double helix is being destroyed. And these spike proteins are sitting in people's nucleuses in their cells. And if you destroy your DNA, you can't reconstitute a double helix. So are you even human? One of the boards that I carry is, are you even human if your DNA is changing? What are you? And what will your children be? If everybody has taken this jab and slowly your T cells are being diminished, okay? And I'm not a doctor. This is all I understand. I'm a mom. I'm a senior, you know. I'm here 33 years in the village. I will not be compromised. I will not comply. My dad landed on Omaha Beach during World War II for your freedom to do this. And you, Mr. Cameraman, my dad landed on Omaha Beach. He liberated a kinder camp, children's internment camp. Okay, we are free people. We will not be told what to do by government. This is not communist China. This is the United States. We are a republic.
Yes, thank you so much.
I'm so angry.
That's all right. You're trailing. Let's catch up to everyone.
So sorry. I'm so angry.
But thank you for your comments.
I hope I made sense. Have a great evening.
So, behind the camera, you might have not noticed, but this gentleman here was making sure our cameraman was not bumping into anyone. Sir, what brings you out here today?
I got to support my fellow New Yorkers that are standing up against these mandates.
Yeah. What's wrong with the mandates, in your opinion?
Well, I believe that they are unconstitutional, A, and B, I also feel that this virus isn't really that deadly to begin with. I think you have a 99.97% survival rate, and I think everyone's freaking out, and I think this is more about some kind of control over the people than it is about the virus.
What would you tell some of the people who might be watching at home who think, well, you know, the mandate's not a big deal, just, you know, get the shot and forget about it, you're making too much of a big deal out of it? What would you tell them?
I'd say hold out, maybe do a little bit more research, you know, go to alternate channels of media and really dig down deep and question the narrative. You know, question all your major mainstream media news sources, and you know, if you can't question science, well then it's not science. So yeah, do your homework, research, and it'll set you free. The only thing you have to fear really is fear itself.
So it's the last question. So there was a recent poll that came out of Gallup, and it asked people how what their chance of being hospitalized is once they get COVID, vaccinated versus unvaccinated, and pretty much across the board, people mistook the you know, the chance that a person would be hospitalized by like a crazy amount. By I think it was something like, you know, what was it? It was something like in the realm of like 70% of people thought that you had a higher chance of being hospitalized than you actually do. Many people actually thought it was like a 50% chance of getting hospitalized. What do you think is leading to so many people thinking, you know, that the virus causes so much more hospitalization than it actually does?
I think it's just fear driven, and I think that really there's all sorts of monoclonal antibody medication and whatnot, you know, that they're suppressing. You know, I think it's all about selling a vaccine, and unfortunately, that's leading to a lot of adverse reactions, and it's leading to even death. Look at the VAERS reporting system for vaccine injuries, and I think you've already had like 17,000 deaths from the vaccine. I mean, do people not care about those lives? I mean, second of all, even if you get COVID, you can still spread COVID. So what's the point of a mandate?
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
So again, by the way, if you're just tuning in, we just left City Hall where there's about 1,000 people rallying against the vaccine mandates. And then after about maybe a dozen or so speakers, we're coming down here. So this is right here, Brooklyn Bridge, right? So this right here is the Brooklyn Bridge, where about 1,000 people are marching across it protesting the vaccine mandates that have come down in New York City. So let's go take a look. So we're sort of at the tail end because we were interviewing people, so we got a little bit left behind. Let's go into the thick of it. So by the way, in case you are not aware, New York City, there's probably the strongest vaccine mandate. Maybe San Francisco has a similar one, but it's pretty much the strictest vaccine mandate in the country here. All employees of the city had to get vaccinated with at least one shot by October 29th, and if they didn't, they were let go. And about 9,000 people, by the latest estimate I read, were put on unpaid leave, including many firefighters, police officers, first responders, and so on. Teachers as well. So a lot of them are actually here. I've seen quite a few police officers and firefighters and teachers. So let's go chat with some more people, see what brings them out there. A lot of signs, a lot of people saying. One thing I've noticed is that about half of the people I spoke with are saying that they will continue to stay in New York and fight, and then the other half say that if this continues down the road, it's continuing, they're just going to leave the state. So let's see what some people say. You mind if I ask you a question, sir?
Mr. Carson.
What brings you out here today?
Against the mandates right now. I mean, it's unconstitutional. We shouldn't be doing this. It's not safe and effective. I don't know, what studies. We can't have any studies on it right now. It's a fast track through. It's very dangerous. People are dying from the shot, and they're mandating it. Now they're mandating it for children, 5 to 11.
Is your job in jeopardy with the mandates?
Yes, it is. I work for a company that has over 100 employees, and right now, it's questionable.
So once OSHA, likely puts together that rule that Biden is pushing for, what will you do? Will you fight back against it, or you think you'll comply?
Oh, no, I won't comply. I'll fight against it. I'm not complying to this at all. My life is more important than my job.
What about the election yesterday? Eric Adams won. He's very pro-mandate. You're seeing a lot of sort of the continuation of the Bill de Blasio policies. What do you? And the CDC is now, questioning introducing vaccine mandates in elementary schools and stuff like that.
Yeah, the CDC is
it's likely going to pass soon. What do you make of it? Are you going to leave the city, or are you going to stay here and then?
I'm going to fight. I'm going to stay and fight. Yeah. No, I won't have this. What's to say that I move to another state and another governor comes in and changes everything over there? You got to fight it here. We got to end this all over the world.
So last question, what if somebody's watching this at home and they're like, hey, you're making too much of a big deal with the mandate, just take the shot, you're just thinking too much. What would you tell them?
My life is more important than any job. It's a very dangerous thing. There's no studies saying it's safe and effective. When did people start trusting the pharmaceutical industry? Pfizer, they have a long criminal history. Right? My life is more important than any job.
Thank you, sir. Thanks. All right, by the way, if you want to turn the camera this way, you get a pretty good shot of the parade. So again, you get it on both sides. Because we were earlier, we got left behind a little bit. All right, so once again, if you're just tuning in, we were down by City Hall earlier. There was a rally of about maybe 1,000 people, maybe over 1,000, of people protesting the vaccine mandates that have come down in New York City for all city workers. But plus, if you want to go into restaurants, if you want to go into gyms, if you want to go into indoor entertainment, you got to show the vaccine card. So New York is pretty much, the strictest with this policy. By the way, if you're watching this at home, shout out to my cameraman who's constantly walking backward, dodging everybody. Although sometimes he bumps into people. All right, let's go talk to some more people. Yeah, of course, please. So, what brings you out here today?
Okay, I'm Ariel Cohen, A-R-I-E-L. K-O-H-A-N as in Nancy, E as in Edward. I'm Ariel Cohen. I came out here because I'm against the mandate. I'm for freedom of choice. Although I am fully vaccinated myself, but that was my choice. All right, nobody forced me to. I made my own choice, and everyone else should be allowed to make their own decisions together with their medical doctors and families. And nothing should be forced upon anyone. And this is what America is all about, should be all about.
You know what they say, huh?
Unfortunately, Curtis Sliwa lost because he would have ended the mandate. Someone had Bill Pepitone, but unfortunately,
People like us never give up. People like us never give up.
Well, let me ask you. There's a lot of in the media. There's a lot of stories about people like you who are vaccinated, and they're worried about people who are not vaccinated. What do you make of that?
Well, I take the necessary precautions. I mean, that's by wearing a mask. It's a CPAC mask from CPAC of last year, and a Fox Nation mask from Fox News, and a conservative Republican mask. But yeah, I mean, we have to do our own due diligence to protect ourselves, and it shouldn't infringe upon other people's rights. So there has to be a balance, and everybody should follow the medical science and do the best as you can to safeguard yourself in terms of your health, especially from COVID, and to you can take ivermectin, coercion, zinc, vitamin D3, other kinds of vitamins and minerals, and they're like different ways to build up your immune system and to boost your immune system, and if you have to get a COVID test, you get a COVID test if you feel you need it or some circumstances are mitigated. But it's this is not democracy, and it's unconstitutional to mandate vaccines and to prevent people from living their normal lives if they were taken, specifically the COVID vaccine. So so that's what we're fighting for, is medical freedom, and hopefully it will work. I mean, hopefully we will change things. And we got some Republican victories last night in different states and different cities, and hopefully the tide is turning. And there'll be we'll get Trump in 2024. We'll take back the House and Senate next year. And we have to keep fighting and praying and working hard and keep on doing these things, what we're doing now, marching and talking, and hopefully we'll see some results, positive results, good results in our favor of what we want. And so I'm one of the Republican district leaders in the 67th Assembly District on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. I'm also on the New York County Republican Committee, a member of Jews for Trump and Jews Choose Trump, and the Young Jewish Conservatives, wearing a Young Jewish Conservatives yarmulke. And so.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, much appreciated. Thank you very much. You're welcome. Yeah.
So one thing you said is really interesting to me. Oftentimes these are painted as like, rallies of only unvaccinated people who are fighting against the mandates. But actually, I mean, I suspect that most people are unvaccinated here. But actually, I mean, this is more of a freedom versus coercion type of ethos here. Wherein I've seen many interviews where people are like, hey, I'm vaccinated as well. I just come out here because I don't support the mandate, not necessarily the vaccine. So there's many different opinions here. Let's go talk to a few more people. I'll go ahead. Need to change the battery? All right, I don't know if you're still watching, but we need to change the battery pack real quick. But if you take a look, quite big here, maybe over 1,000 people, maybe even 2,000. Now that everybody's kind of streaming together, I see there's several groups that you guys are aware of. No vaccine man! All right, we need to change the battery, and then we will be right back.
People catch it.
Okay.
We're changing the battery. It's not on right now.
Ah! Look at him!
Like I really get the online stuff, so appreciate y'all for the content, but really appreciate y'all for being out here. Thank you.
All right, for sure. Good? Oh.
This is all documented in ancient news. And the reason why is because they were afraid that Huawei.
All right, so we're actually at the tail end, and hey, are we rolling? By the way.
We love you guys. Thank you so much for coming.
Well, hey, we actually are filming. I'm joking. I'm double joking. But I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're wonderful. I love your show.
All right. So, what about now? Are we good? Good. All right. We are back. Just had to change the batteries because we're interviewing and recording so many speeches and talking to so many people. So, I'm gonna come this way. So yeah, again, if you're just tuning in, there's a giant protest here in New York. Maybe 1,000 to 2,000 people have turned out against the vaccine mandates that have come down here in New York City. We started over by City Hall. There were some speeches there, a rally, and now people are streaming here across the Brooklyn Bridge, heading into Brooklyn. Again, protesting the vaccine mandates that have come into effect here in New York City. So let's go talk to some people, see what brought them out here. We've already been talking. We've already been talking to quite a few people. Like they're unfurling some kind of a banner on here.
Give the land back.
Let's see what this is.
Big Pharma, bad karma, give the land back.
Looks like it is a Trump one. Looks like it's a Trump one sign. It's not a baseball game, but the Trump one sign has come out. All right. So pretty lengthy parade if you see here. I don't know. Do you want to go higher a little bit so you can see kind of the sea of flags? That's cold every day for me.
Yeah, me too. Well, we need like a whole group of us. A whole car full of
Big Pharma, bad karma, give the land back.
I can't remember.
Big Pharma, bad karma, give the land back.
Hey, Miss, you mind if I ask you a
Big
question?
Pharma, bad karma, give the land back.
What brings you out here?
What brings me back out here?
Yeah.
The doctrine of discovery and colonization. This is the final push of colonization of our bodies. They want to completely take over our bodies. My body, my choice. I've been fighting for that my whole life.
What do you make of Bill de Blasio tweeting out yesterday that all medical decisions should be a private affair between a doctor and their person, a doctor and the person?
Yeah, of course they should be.
So do you think that squares away with the vaccine mandates that he's imposed on the city?
Obviously not. Don't you know that all politicians are racist?
I've never heard that before. First time.
Isn't that how they get their jobs? The truth is we have a drug cartel in the White House. Big Pharma gives money to the Republicans, they give money to the Democrats. Right? How long? This is Generation RX. They have been campaigning for decades. When I was a kid, you couldn't even advertise medicine on TV or in an advertisement.
Let's go, Brandon.
So now they're advertising medicines all the time. This is just a fucking drug deal.
What do you make of the election yesterday? Eric Adams won. He's going to continue the vaccine mandates. It looks like the CDC will begin imposing them on schools as well, possibly in the near future. Are you thinking you might move out of New York City, or are you going to continue to stay here and fight?
I'm a New York City public school teacher. I've been trying to quit my job for years, but I love kids, so I couldn't. But I finally got fired, so I'll leave.
You got fired because of the mandate?
Because I'm not vaccinated. Although they wanted to fire me because I don't believe in mandates. So there were parents calling for me to be fired anyway. Do I want to leave New York City? It's hard to live here because it's so sad that all of these liberals who are so pro-mandate thing about how, they're always been, like I grew up, communism is evil, they're trying to make everybody the same. Well, I was a public school teacher. They're trying to make everybody the same. They're trying to make every child the same. They're trying to put every child in the same box. Right? Mandated curriculum. It doesn't work. Right? Children should have sovereignty over what they learn. We are born learners. Whose body? Whose choice? Whose body? And so mandating anything is absurd. We are all unique human beings. There's not a single, there's 9 billion of us, and not one of us is alike. It's like a miracle. And we're trying to make everybody the same. Everybody is not the same. Everybody does not need the same medicine. Everybody does not need the same curriculum. Everybody does not need the same food. And so this whole idea that there's a one-size-fits-all is absurd. And they've and they've been saying the communists are making everybody the same. No, the capitalists are making everybody the same.
So last question, what are you going to be doing now that the school has the vaccine mandate for employees?
What am I going to be doing? My goal is to create a village somewhere with hemp houses that are part of regenerating the soil. We've got 60 years of soil left, and this is the real problem, right? This one-size-fits-all, this monocropping, right? They've been monocropping corn and soy across the country, depleting the earth's soil. This is the real problem. It's the same issue. One size does not fit all. Not in agriculture, not in education, not in medicine. It's absurd. So we have to get over this atomized view of science that somehow we can find this one thing that's going to fix it for everybody. No, we're unique. So.
Thank you so much. Best of luck to you. So if you want to see here, we're about, I would say, 2/3 of the way across the bridge. And again, if you're just tuning in, this is a fairly large protest against the vaccine mandates that have gone into effect here in New York City. All city workers need to be vaccinated in order to not lose their jobs. About 9,000 people have already been put on unpaid leave or lost their jobs due to being unvaccinated. A lot of people I spoke to here, you got teachers, FDNY, police officers, and what's interesting, you have vaccinated and unvaccinated people here, because mostly people are against the mandates. Definitely some people are against the vaccine itself. Who?
Pfizer! Pfizer! Yay! Pfizer! I'm just fucking with you.
We got a Pfizer representative in the house.
I'm sent to blend in. I'm here to blend.
What brings you out here?
Well, that's a complicated question. I don't really have reasons for things I do.
Okay.
I just do them. I was actually going somewhere else. I heard a commotion. I thought it was a revolution. So I came, I joined. I'm a little disappointed. It's not really a revolution, just against the ruling powers, but not in any kind of serious way. So it's okay. It'll do. The Epic Times. That's that's what do you guys call the cult, the Moonies? Aren't you guys the Moonies? Are you sure? Which Christian cult are you guys?
Not a Christian cult. It's
Epic Times? For real?
Yeah, of course. Well, that's a good question, by the way. He's talking about the name of the paper. So
right, I thought it was, yeah.
Well, did you ask about the name? So the name, it's you have the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Chicago Tribune. It's all tied to a certain location, right?
Right.
The Epic Times, though, we're not tied to any specific location. We're talking
tied to the afterlife.
No, tied to the epic, the great epic that we're currently experiencing. No, the paper was initially founded by practitioners of Falun Gong. They wanted to expose what was happening in China.
Oh, Falun Gong, right, Falun Gong. I actually protected a Falun Gong woman 3 nights ago in Times Square. She was holding up a sign for Curtis Sliwa.
Oh, yeah?
For mayor, because I don't know about you in particular, but a lot of Falun Gong, Falun Dafa people are very right-wing in America, even if their English is not very good, just because that's their perception, that's more anti-Chinese communist government. So there were some kids in their early 20s or so that pushed her down. So I got in the way, and some kids came up. I mean, I almost got hit. I said, listen, I don't know this. I'm just, you can't hit an old lady kind of thing.
Why would they? Because she was holding a sign for Sliwa?
Yeah, but she had guts. After she got up, because like I was blocking the way so they couldn't push her again. After she got up, she went over to one of the kids and went boom, 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 like she was gonna shoot him. It was pretty ballsy. Yeah,
That's fascinating.
So is this still a Falun Gong, Falun Dafa thing?
No, I mean, it's always been a mainstream publication, although we do have like a sort of a mission to expose communism in all of its different manifestations, whether it's in China or here in the States. And
totalitarianism of any kind, I see. That's very cool. Well, it's nice talking with you.
Yeah, you as well. Take care.
Roman, hey.
Yeah, very interesting story. All right, so by the way, if you're just tuning in, right, this is kind of the tail end of a parade here.
Will not comply. We, the people, 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 will not comply.
Hey, sir, you mind if I ask you a quick question? Sure. What brings you out here today?
Working against the mandates that are going on right now.
What do you think is the problem with the mandates? What don't you like about the mandates?
They're very one-sided. They're not giving us any choice, any more freedom for choices that this country was established.
Are you affected professionally in any way?
Yes, I am. My company is currently considering mandating all of us to get vaccinated.
So what will you do if that happens?
I go on unpaid leave.
That's rough. Like with the election yesterday, Eric Adams won. He's very pro-vaccine mandate. What are you going to do in the long term? It seems like these mandates aren't going away in New York City.
The people will not comply. We, the people, will not comply.
Getting to this point,
We, the people, will not comply.
That's a big shame.
The people will
Well,
not
good luck to you.
comply.
Actually, about how?
The people will not comply.
How you doing?
Not bad. What brings you out here?
Educators for Freedom. You interviewed our friend here before, Mo. We're out here. We've been on unpaid leave for over a month now, or I think exactly a month now, and we're just out here fighting for freedom. Yeah.
You've been on unpaid leave because of the vaccine mandate.
Because of the vaccine mandate. Yep.
Wow. What if it doesn't go away? What you just not gonna go back to teaching?
So, I've just moved my teaching somewhere else. I am a teacher. I don't need the four walls of a DOE classroom to make me a teacher, and so I'm going to keep teaching. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like these mandates are going to end with us. It looks like they're going to be coming after the kids, and regardless, people are, realizing that the school system isn't necessarily giving them the education that they thought it was. So there's always going to be a need for good teachers, and I'm out here to serve the people.
What do you make of that? The CDC right now is, discussing mandating it for 5 to 11-year-olds.
I think that they need to go back and read the FDA's own report that says itself that there's no really impact for kids here. This isn't about kids. If anything, it would be like a collective thing. And there's no point in history when kids do something for older people. And even in the report itself, they say it shouldn't be mandated. So I don't know. Yeah, it's completely political.
What would you tell somebody who's like watching this at home, and maybe they're thinking, "Oh, you guys are making too much of a big deal of it. The mandates aren't that big of a problem. Just get the shot. You're worrying too much about it."
I would say, if they can wake up one day and say, "Oh, we have this brand new thing. Oh yeah, safe and effective," which again, it's only been a year, so I don't know how. You have a lot of confidence and hubris to be able to claim that. Let me remind you that sunscreen was found to cause cancer this past year after 40 years of safe and effectiveness. So, they're saying it appears to be safe and effective after how many months of data, right? So if they can wake up one day and mandate that, what can they mandate next? That's what this is about. What is next?
I was talking to a lady back there. She was from the former Soviet Union. She was talking sort of the same thing, how it's like a slippery slope towards she was saying communism. Would you agree with her?
So, I don't know if it necessarily matters, like if you call it communism or authoritarianism, right? But it's where a government is overreaching and going towards some collective that's supposed to be for the good, and superseding your individual rights. So, and again, it goes back to, okay, if they can mandate this, what else can they mandate? And it didn't just start now. It was, go back to 9/11. Go back to the 1990s. Go back, it's every decade they do a little bit more and a little bit more to take our rights. And for me, this is crossing the line. I'm like, okay, I see where this is going, and I'm awake now. So everybody has a different line, but I just want people to ask themselves those questions. Where is my line? When is enough for me?
Last question. So Eric Adams was elected mayor of New York. He's very pro-mandate. Seems like these mandates aren't going to be going away. Are you going to stay here and fight or move to another city?
You know, that's a question that every day I ask myself. So much of my family is here. You know, and part of me does, I should just go and move and be free and stick it to the state, right? And another part of me thinks that if New York City falls, these other places that we see as bastions of liberty right now will also, you know, the slippery slope will come and get them. So personally, I'm torn right now. I'm here, I'm fighting, I'm trying to build my own school. You know, maybe a network of schools even, because there's a bunch of us out here trying to do this. So right now I'm staying and fighting, but you know, that's a question I'm still thinking a lot about every day.
Best of luck.
All right, thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah, you heard it. A lot of teachers out here talking about exactly that, getting you know, put on unpaid leave due to the mandates. By the way, if you're just tuning in, you don't know what's going on. It's about maybe 1,000 to 2,000 people right now crossing the Brooklyn Bridge, protesting the vaccine mandates that have come down in New York City. And my cameraman is about to pop up. There was over by City Hall, maybe a dozen or so speakers speaking against the mandates. And then we've just been crossing here the bridge with the people, talking to them, and quite a cross-segment of society. You got firefighters, cops, teachers, all types of others. And even vaccinated / unvaccinated people. People are generally protesting the coercive mandates, not exclusively self-defense.
Guys, give me a thumbs up. Ooh, this is not fake news.
Oh yeah?
Why are you videoing me? I am protesting tyranny, and I am standing for freedom.
Yeah. What's wrong with the mandate, in your opinion?
I think everyone should be in control of their medical decisions. I don't think the government should be telling you what to do.
You know what? You know who would agree with that?
Donald J. Trump.
Bill de Blasio. Yesterday he tweeted that a medical decision should be the exclusive authority between a doctor and the patient.
Well, I guess he's like his president. He doesn't remember what he says the next day.
He was talking about abortion, though. It wasn't necessarily to the vaccine mandate. What do you make of that he tweeted out those words, but he's enforcing a vaccine mandate on New York?
Well, I think they're all walking contradiction. Everything they do is hypocritical, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Have you been affected any professionally by the mandate?
Yes, my college forced me to get vaccinated.
As like a prerequisite for attendance?
Yes. That's the downside of living in the Big Apple.
Yeah. But I guess you just went ahead and you got it and you're like, okay, well, whatever.
Yeah, I did it. They're going to kill me over here, but I did. I complied.
Well, actually, a lot of people I talk to, you know, a lot of people out here are just protesting the mandate aspect of it, not necessarily the vaccine portion.
Yeah, I was opposed to it, but I didn't really get much choice, so it was either that or an absence of leave.
What would you tell somebody who's like, let's say, watching this at home and they're like, nah, the vaccine mandate thing is you know, you guys shouldn't protest about it, you're making too big of a deal, just take the shot and like move on and forget about it.
It's real. It's real. You can't walk into a bar, you can't walk into a restaurant in New York unless you're vaccinated. And they start with one vaccine, then they're going to tell you need 2 vaccines, a booster, you can't eat sugar. Who knows where they stop when they have this amount of control.
They got to put it on. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now. The pandemic's on God, bro. They're trying to put fear in your body.
Yeah,
and I'm trying to tell you right now that it starts with this and it goes to something else.
Ooh.
So it's very simple right now. 75% of the people that are dying, they obese, they fat, and they got health issues.
So join us on
Hit
this
the
walk
LA
and
Fitness,
lose weight.
bro. Advertise to the gym. You need to get healthy. Because the second you put that in your body, I got a coworker right now, her young daughter, bro, she took the vaccine. She's in a wheelchair right now. I know a D1 athlete, perfectly healthy, took the vaccine. He's in the hospital right now. There's health issues with this vaccine. So you watch yourself, bro. Remember this face. Bill de Blasio. Come for me, bro. Woodmere. See me.
So see him as well. This is a common theme. People believe that this is kind of step one, and then if this continues, if they can mandate something like this, they can continue to mandate other things as well. Plus,
real news, guys.
There's the aspect of the vaccine passport. So if you turn that
real
way,
news.
way,
Trump won.
Watch me.
So careful. There's a partition here.
Biden.
My body, my choice.
I don't know. Epic times.
So we are now in Brooklyn. Made it all the way across the bridge. Where about 1,000, maybe 2,000 people are protesting against the vaccine mandates being levied here in New York. A lot of teachers, firefighters. I even saw some taxi drivers back there. I think the TLC is forcing them to get vaccinated as well. College students. Big cross-sector society. Can I ask a question? We can get Sally, boy. What brings you out here today?
Because it's my body and my choice, and I think everyone should have the right to choose what goes in your body. If I can choose my sex and I can choose abortion, why can't I choose what's best for me? You know, so that's why I'm here.
Has the mandate affected you at all professionally?
Yes, it has. I'm an actress, and I cannot work on both sets. And I personally have a medical issue. I have autoimmune, and I cannot do the vaccine. But looking at it from other angles, it makes no sense. I'm a researcher, I've researched everything. I'm listening to doctors, and even common sense. I wouldn't do it.
Do the different productions, they don't accept this medical attention that you have if you have autoimmune cancer?
They're saying that it's accepted. There is no avenue that you can. You need to get to my choice. Who's choice? Who's has done nothing to protect us or tell us what we can do. Who's going to vet the medical or
who's body?
My body.
Who's choice?
My choice.
Who's body?
So we have no avenue. We're on our own. And if they choose not to hire us, there's no way, there's nothing we can do at this point. But we're fighting. A group has started, and we will be on that.
Well, that was going to be my next question. When Eric Adams won the race yesterday, he's very pro-mandate.
Yes.
Would you continue fighting, or would you move out of the city with this?
I don't think people should back out of this. No matter where you go, there's going to be a problem. If not now, maybe later. We need to stop it. It's a global issue. I'm from the Caribbean, and there are issues there as well. We need to stop what's going on. It's clearly wrong. It's clearly wrong. Some people need to go to jail. Yeah. It's hard to see. Like Fauci, who keeps saying different things, and people are listening to him, but they don't know better, and I feel really bad. Like my brother took it, and he doesn't even know the implications. There are people who cannot even go online, so much censorship. Let people have information and make decisions for themselves. Yes.
Yeah, right. Thank you so much. Yeah. All right, so, we're once again at the tail end of the parade. We're always getting pushed back because we're interviewing people. So, looks like we have made it now officially across the bridge. Are you still filming? So it looks like we are officially across the bridge in Brooklyn. And if you're, again, just tuning in, this is the march against vaccine mandates. Maybe 1,000 to 2,000 people have come out in protest of the vaccine mandates. You guys have probably heard me say that once or twice here. Yeah, so there was about... What? Even if we don't get her on camera, we heard her. She said she loves the Epoch Times.
Epoch Times! Epoch Times! Epoch Times! Epoch Times! Epoch Times! Epoch Times! Epoch Times!
Epoch Times. All right, so we are officially in Brooklyn now. And yeah, I actually don't know. I didn't look at the schedule of where this protest is going. Do you know where it's going? No? So, well, it's going to Brooklyn, and that's where we are now. So,
City Hall.
so New York is kind of an interesting place where... The reason I say it's interesting is because it has some of the strictest COVID measures in the entire country, maybe except San Francisco, or they're equal. I don't know about San Francisco that much, but here in New York, if you want to, let's say, go to a gym, if you want to go to indoor dining, if you want to go to indoor entertainment, you need to show your vaccine passport. And then 4 days ago, another measure went into effect, wherein if you're a city employee, you need to be vaccinated in order to continue, your gainful employment. And about 9,000 people have been put on unpaid leave. Perhaps it's more by today. But a lot of the people I spoke with here, they have been either fired or put on unpaid leave. Teachers, firefighters, police officers. And this is the situation here. However, what's interesting is that it doesn't necessarily cut across political lines here in the state, in the city of New York. If you look at the kind of breakdown of who's vaccinated, who's not, a lot of like black people, Latino people, Southeast Asian people are not vaccinated, and that doesn't necessarily mean they're like, let's say, Republicans versus Democrats. It doesn't seem to be cutting across partisan lines, perhaps as much as other places in the country. But hey, if you want to actually turn that way, so what you're looking at now is the bulk, kind of the bulk of the protest. A lot of people honking. A lot of people honking on the side of the road. Not too many people
Freedom over fear!
Against the protest.
Freedom over
do see a couple of people, random people walking by who obviously did not expect to see this, especially in the city of New York.
Lock up Fauci! Lock up Fauci! They're treasonous scum! And I'm not going to tolerate this!
Something comes
any longer!
Our side, we're like, oh my gosh! That's going to bring the cameras back.
So it looks like we have officially made it across the bridge into Brooklyn. And I actually need to go back to the office to do some editing.
Oh, you found that on Big Sheet, didn't you? Well, yeah, it's fucking sensitive.
Thank you for tuning in. And yeah, just keep abreast of what's happening in New York. Tune into theepictimes.com. We continually publish updates about what's happening in New York. Until next time, I'm Roman from the Epic Times. Stay informed and stay free.